All right, truth seekers. All right, it's Friday night. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, so I hope you are ready and getting ready for a lot of things. We are going to get into symbolism, and so if you do know about that, and if you don't know about that, it's something that you definitely want to pay attention to. And so we will definitely be getting in it to there. So, if you're in a live chat tonight, let's go ahead and say hello. All right, we got Don in the house today, and I want to appreciate you being here as well. And Dr. Strange is in the house today. All right, so we're streaming today supposedly through Instagram, and we're going to be streaming through Facebook as well. So if you are any of those platforms, make sure you reach out and say hello so we can kind of see you in the chat. Like again, symbolism. Why do we want to talk about symbolism? I think it's something that is very important. It is something that I think that a lot of people take not for granted, but it goes on unknowingly where people really don't know what is really happening. So we're going to get into that. And we got a good show tonight. We're going to go over a lot of stuff and prepare. And then I have a announcement, and I'll make it over and over tonight so that you all know that what we're going to be doing. This is 2025. So it is time for us to get deep in some of the things that we talk about and do. And it's important. So I want to make sure if you have not, and for those of you, if you pop in here, I want you to make sure you set those alerts so that we know, or you know, when I go live, and definitely when I do video uploads from there. But once again, if you're not here listening to us on YouTube, we're supposed to be, like I said, we're supposed to be live on Facebook as well, and then live on Instagram. So I'm going to check my phone and see if that is the case. Did we connect or did we not connect? I'm not for sure how it works. But if not, we will just go with what we know on the floors. But if you are here from any of the other platforms, then let me know. Let me check the Facebook app as well and see if we are live on Facebook. Yeah, we're live on Facebook, so that's pretty good there. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right, so but if you're watching us on Instagram, that's the other one I'm trying to test to make sure that we are good to go on Instagram as well. And then, we're just trying to stream on multiple platforms. And I can't check it. I really don't know, what would happen if we were there. But if any of you could find or got Instagram and you can check and see, let me know real quickly. And then we're getting ready to get deep right into our conversation. So let's work that out right now. So obviously, I don't know where we will be on Instagram, and we're supposed to be live. So anyway, somebody check that for me. Somebody go and do a quick check to see what's going on Instagram to see where we are with that one. Okay. And that'll be helpful from there. All right. So here's what we're ready to do. I'm trying to wait for a few more people to get in because I didn't do a 3-minute countdown purposely because I wanted to get right into everything that we were doing and just all across the board. But for those of you who are here now, that's cool. Diana says she's watching us on YouTube. Is the godmother of the channel. But if you are watching on Facebook or anything else, like I say, put something in the chat and it may come across the screen. It should, but I'm not really sure why it's not. But either way, we will find out. All right. So symbolism. Let's go into symbols. Period. I think a lot of people need to understand that this is the ancient way for people to. Y'all give a shout out to Wesley already supporting the show tonight. I want to appreciate you doing that. But symbols is an ancient form of communication. It's probably one of the most powerful form of communications that have been around, again, since the ancient times. And oftentimes I think people take not notice, but or not even, I don't think people take it for granted. They just don't know how they influence our everyday lives and how they are used not only by some of these secret and hidden and dark organizations, because those things and symbols and symbolism actually has magical, or should we say ancient powers that activate the subconscious, powers that go in a lot of areas that I think a lot of people don't really understand that. And it's something important to do. So we're going to go into that. This is our season. I've already, if you look over to the right side of the screen over here, you'll see the symbolizer. That is some studying I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of studying of symbols over the last months and months. And all started when I told you guys about the story of coming back from Oregon and being there on that UFO fest and meeting the people that I met, and it sent me down a road because again, when I walked in the place, it was just full of symbols, and she gave me a fair warning of what was happening, and so therefore, not only I went there and then also learned sigils and how to activate those, and then of course ultimately creating my own protection symbol, which then I extended it to our community within our branded shirts and stuff, because I think a lot of us didn't know, and I didn't know how deep this stuff go for us to be checking for hidden knowledge, and those people out there who don't want us to go into that realm of hidden knowledge. So there's something there. So this is our direction. We're going to be doing this all year long. And the announcement of that is starting Monday. I will be going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So set the clocks at 8 o'clock prompt. I won't be using a lot of countdowns. So therefore, right at 8, we'll get started right with the podcast and what we're doing. We'll go for a couple of hours. Maybe some will be shorter, but not too longer, unless it's a Friday like tonight that we can kind of extend and do as we please. But we will focus on occult knowledge, symbolism, and it all ties back to extraterrestrials and aliens. So for those of you who know my background of being a UFO investigator, TV personality, and 11 different TV shows regarding aliens and Bigfoot and all of those things, but it all extends back to ancient control, reptilian control, all of these things that I think is something that's very important for us to really focus on, to know that there is a hidden society of some kind that is in some point looking to rule us through what we will call the New World Order of some kind, or just wherever it could be when it gets down to that. All right, so I'm going to start out with a lot of things. So again, make sure that you set your alerts, make sure everything is set for 8 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're going to do this as we go. We're back. This is what we're doing, but the whole focus again is going to go down through from corporate logos to ancient buildings and whatever. But I got a few things to get us kind of going into the direction as far as our conversations. Now, one of the things I want to say, the symbols are everywhere. And I think we all should know that, but they're on clothes we wear, they're on logos we see, and even architect that we pass by in our daily lives. But how often do we really question what they mean? Never. Might often don't. Sometimes we just think it's some beautiful architect, or man, that's a cool logo, or something for the brand. Now, y'all know me. I've always said it recently that I think when it comes down to business logos and things like that, it's a different story when it comes down to you having a brand. And I use, for example, maybe you sell coffee, or maybe you sell candles or something, and you go and you have somebody to make you a beautiful logo with a candle on it, and all of a sudden is that when these companies and all of these different you know corporations are tapping into sacred geometry, they're tapping into hidden knowledge, and they're creating logos that don't even make no sense to the product. But yet we got branding experts want to tell you people need to recognize what it is. No, they don't. Not really. When you get your brand out there, they're going to know. But if your brand has hidden magical powers and subconscious access in it, like Starbucks don't look nothing like coffee. In fact, I think I got the little cup behind me, but it doesn't look nothing like coffee. It's a siren. And it's a mermaid with her legs open and her breast out, and the aroma. It ain't got nothing to do. It didn't have nothing to do with coffee beans, but it definitely, activate the subconscious so that people will come in and get all hooked up into the aroma and the misting of the coffee. So those are things that are happening out there. And so I am going to say this is the season that we're going to start this. We're going to start a movement. And as you know, the podcast and the branding is truth versus authority. This is it. This is my final hour of saying for the years to come, how do I, help humanity? How do I put the information out there? How do I do my part from all the discovery and the things that I have went through, and also the hidden knowledge and learning in the people and connections that I have? And it all boils down to truth versus authority. Is it a rebellion? Absolutely. It should be a rebellion. It should be a time that we activate people, not people that think they're just woke. Being woke ain't enough. Being woke is just that you know what they're doing, but what the hell are you doing about it, right? So we're talking about truth. And oftentimes we associate truth with authority. And that's what we've been made to believe. That's what we've been hoodwinked over the years and years, from religion through corporate media, entertainment, through commercials and parenting, the whole 9 yards. That authority is the truth. And I know some of you today are looking at me now. I'm not talking about your parents or anything, but how many of you have now grown wise enough that you remember some of the things that your mom and father or grandmother or cousin, uncle had told you that it's just crazily true, bad. It's not even true. It's like the dumbest stuff you ever heard. But they didn't know that. They were told, and it was passed down from generations to generations to generations, because that's how they designed it to work. They don't have to police none of us when our parents and our grandparents are doing the work for them, and you doing the work for them and raising your children. And I'm not saying you as in personally, but there are people out there that are raising their children in the ways that they think is right. And these people know that it's the plan, and it's what those things are all about from there. And I think it's one of the things that we need to really think about. So again, truth versus authority. Just because somebody is in a position of authority doesn't mean oftentimes that they are correct. We know there's bad authorities. There's authorities with insidious or hidden agendas that will conquer people, period. But yet they do that. This is how they do use some of our celebrities, or in how they do things, and pretty much. And so once again, we have to understand that just because it's an authority figure or individual or something does not mean that they have the truth, or telling the truth, or operating in truth. Truth is the authority. Make no mistake about it. When you find truth, natural law, all these things that are happening within our world that they cannot do anything. Natural law, no human on earth can surpass that. There's nothing to get around it. And they know that. This is what the sacred Illuminati and the Masons and the 33, they practice natural law. And we're going to get into a lot of natural law all this year. So we're going to get into it because it's time for us to use the information for ourselves, and understand that occult knowledge does not mean bad. Occult only means, it's a Latin word for hidden. And why don't we want to go and get the hidden information? And as I've now ventured into this, and we began to go, that I began to also know that the authority is the mind. And it could be your mind, my mind. And by them controlling our minds, then you know how people say the old saying, seeing is believing. Do we really think you can go with that these days? Heck no, you cannot. But people do. We think seeing is believing. They have a way to manipulate what we see. And by manipulating what we see within this construct of this reality that we're living in, or all these things that they're doing to us, we believe everything. Now, I'm not saying some things you see is not to be true, but they definitely have the ability to alter that reality, and then in turn alter the truth, and in turn alter your movements, our movements, or whatever's happening through this. And so that is something that we want to look into. Have you ever noticed how certain symbols make you feel a certain way? And why do brands spend billions of dollars? They spend billions of dollars perfecting these designs. I have the hidden documents of Pepsi, and we're going to go over it on one of our shows where it shows the company that they with. It's like 10, 20 pages. These people use everything in ancient. We think that's a simple circle, red and white, blue logo. No, they got sacred geometry. I'll show you. We're going to do a show on it soon. And it has sacred geometry. They turn it in all these angles, and in their paperwork, it says that this angle is going to create this emotion. Another degrees is going to create this. They knew how this was going to activate the person that walks by and look at these Pepsi bottles and look and think of it as a global product. And when they're implementing these things, they're doing it on not only a scientific level, but an ancient, mystical, spiritual level, because they know how symbols affect us. And I want you to think about the dollar sign. We're talking about the cross, or even the smiley faces that you think about. Simple, universal, and yet these things are as powerful as they get out, right? And because they mean a lot. And why do they resonate with people so strongly? Because they're activated. There's mystical things in it. And I can do a thing right now and pretty much really give you guys a quick testament of what I'm talking about. Hang on, let me click here and just kind of see what's happening. I can't really see. I'm using a different system now, and we're just going there. But anyway, I want you to begin the process. Make sure you like and share these videos so that we can pick up our algorithm and do things that we need to do. Right now, if all of us was in a room, and I want you to picture this for a minute. We're all of us, we're in a room, we're partying, we're having a great time. The lights cuts out, and then there's an explosion over in the corner. We can see the fire. We do see a couple of people that was too close to the explosion, and we know what happened to them. And then we all looking frantically because it's pitch dark now. It's dark, except we see a flame over there, but it's really dark in this room. Then a arrow lights up that points that way. What do you think everybody's going to do? Everybody's going to take off running to that arrow. No conversation. No words need to be said. It's subliminally, and it says something. Now, we think it as an arrow, but it's a symbol. A symbol that activate your mind to tell you what to do. Even though when we run that direction, it's a cliff, and everybody runs off the cliff. Nobody questions nothing because nobody knew. But we just thought because the symbol said that way, or somewhere the word exit. Imagine some sabotage in a building and they don't change the exit sign to the wrong cliff, and it's that way, and we see the sign pops up. Now, okay, that's the word, but we're talking about just a symbol within itself. And so I think that's something that we want to definitely think about when you do. Do you think you chose, and I don't know how many of you right now, but you can raise your hand in the chat and be a little honest if you want to. But how many of you have a tattoo? And do you think you chose that tattoo, or did it choose you? Who decides that's what's cool, and why do some symbols stand the test of time? That's a true story. Since I've been studying this, I've been walking past people with tattoos on their body, and I'll stop them. Hey, what is that? Why you have that? Oh, my grandfather wore this. Your great grandfather? Yeah. So you saw a picture. Did you know him? No, I never knew him. And I want to tell them that tattoo meaning, that is a, mass killer tattoo, germ, whatever. I don't want to get into the side of it, but I knew what the symbol was. Do you know that what your grandfather was saying? And does his spirit live within you? Because these tattoos choose you. And I'm saying these are things that people don't really look at. Let me look in the chat. I haven't looked over here already, but someone said I chose the Trinity. All right. And New Beginnings, hello, rather Truth Seekers. All right, then. Monica is in the house today. Jarrell is in the house today. All right. So how many of you got there? Some people said 2 tacks of a raven and 1 cowgirl face hat. Okay. So there's things that people are wearing and have no clue why they feel the way they feel, or why some things are not happening in a correct way of their life, or why are they attracting so many different things all the time and they can't believe what's happening and on their bodies, within their bodies. They have it. They have this tattoo and things that is representing exactly what is happening. And like I said, a lot of people don't know. They really just don't know what is going on. Someone else says I have one, and pretty much. Daryl said no tats on me. Yeah, I don't have any tattoos. I don't have any at all, not one. And not to say that that was something I was told, but it was just some instinct that I was like, no, I'm just not doing that. But even when you get into government work and things like that, you can't have any identifying tat, especially if you're in the special forces and all of. Well, some of them have some, but there are some places that they don't want you to go there with this thing from there. And let me continue. Think about from ancient civilizations to your Instagram feed. Symbols have been used to communicate. But what if some of these messages are not meant to be understood, at least not by everyone? That is probably one of the most hidden agendas of all times, is the fact that they have symbols meaning things. And for example, we're going to talk about it a little later. I spent $12. Look at this. I have three of these, three different ones. This is Liquid Death. Okay, it's the name of the can, and it's called a Grim Leafer. The other one over there is Dead Billionaire, and the other one is called Rest in Peach. Okay. Now, we've always talked about how water is programmed. Why would anyone want this program? Now, what I'm going to do in a little bit, because I paid all this money for it, I'm going to pour it in this clear bottle, and then I'm going to take it and sit it over here on our, vibrational codes and reprogram the water before I drink this tea, right? Because I don't spend $12. I'm drinking these things. But I'm going to reprogram it, take it out this can, which is programming it, Liquid Death. And it's one of the top things that people are buying in their franchise. I think it's just making mega money, man. These people are making incredible money when it comes down to that. All right. So when you see emojis, they're what we call modern hieroglyphics. A lot of people don't know that, but they do carry meanings, and we don't yet even understand. That's why they call them freaking emojis. Emojis could take the place of communication, but yet it's a symbol that what somebody's trying to say, insinuate, whatever it is, just by them placing in an emoji. Do you not think that's not a symbol? Do you not think it has power to subconsciously activate your brain so that you know without even hearing what's coming out of somebody's mouth? They do it. But imagine your eyes sitting on some other type of emoji that activating your killer instinct in something. You don't even know it. You just your eyes are scanning. So subconsciously you don't see it. You see it, but you don't really register, but it's in here. It's in here. And yet we don't really try to understand that, but yet that's the part that people don't understand. That's why I don't use them. Well, sometimes I do now, but I do use them because if I want to use an alien emoji, it's an alien text, or happy. Oh, it's a shortcut. It cuts around on the texting, right? And it's all those things, but it is something that you have to look at in pretty much. When you see a pyramid, an eye or a snake, does the brain recognize it's familiar? And why do these images appear across so many cultures? It's a meaning in that. I was driving down the street and I saw a couple of the fuel companies, 3 or 4, from Shell to Chevron to and I forget the other one. It was another company. All of these companies are using ancient symbols. A shell, you think it's a shell, but no, it's the sun. It's the sun worship. It's the way they have it. Chevron is using the square pyramids. They just don't complete it. The other one is from the top angle. These are letting you know that these large billionaires are owned by Illuminati's. and they're sitting there every day right in front of us. They stake it. They let everybody else know. We just don't see it. And they don't have to make a pentagon or all this stuff and put the Baphomet sitting right in your face. No, they can hide it within angles. And your mind connect the dots though. You just may not. They do this all the time. Yeah, BP. Yes, that's what John is saying. Yeah, BP has the sun symbol. Yeah, it's the green on the outside and the orange in the middle. There are every bit of Illuminati symbols sitting there illuminating, but people don't think about that stuff. And yet we're going to make them rich. We're going to keep them being rich. But we're going to study all of that all year. We're going to go into it. We're going to have some symbolism symposiums. I don't know if y'all know Brother Yosef. Him and I is going to do a lot of stuff together. We're going to take this thing to a whole nother level because it is time, because there's some scary stuff happening out here and they're preparing, and we're going to get caught off guard if we don't recognize the symbolism in what they're doing. Y'all hear what I'm saying, right? It's the symbolism of what they do. And I've said it before, quit focusing on what, focus on the why, because why is way important than the what when it comes down to a lot of the stuff. How did that swastika, you remember the swastika, transform from a sacred symbol in Eastern traditions to represent the hatred in the West? And how do these symbols get hijacked? They get hijacked because the power is within the thought and conscience of the many people that drives it. If you get what I'm saying, okay. So when the swastika really had a good connotation to it, but yet, okay, the Nazis said, hey, we're going to put a better brand on it. We're going to get well known. We're going to be people to do that and everything else. Y'all give a shout out to Jarrell. Yeah, give a shout out to Jarrell. Yeah, Damon, you're right. I mean, symbols are power. And like I said, we're going to go into that. I got my bubbling water. It's not that other one now. But it is one of the things that, again, is probably as most powerful as it can get. Okay. And I think it's, hang on a second here. Let me see what's going on. What's happening? Okay. There we go. All right. All right. So the other part of that is understanding what is really going on. Let me go back and check what we're doing here. Hang on. All right. So again, symbols of sigils. That's correct. I'm wearing a sigil right here. It's a sigil right there in this corner that was made, has significant meaning. The upside down triangle. And let me tell you, and we'll get into that later in the show. So that's not a problem from there. Another part is religious symbols are universal, but they are divine or deliberate tools for control. I'm not going to say that religion is not purposeful and is not important and is not real in some cases. I do know that there are some things in religion was not designed by the hand of God, okay? And they were used, and it is used to control billions of people. And more people have fought and died in wars over religion than anything on the planet. And there's nothing more serious in having an argument. And even if you were married, I was married, so I'm giving you some history. There's nothing more dangerous than arguing with your spouse or your mate, and they're speaking from a biblical term, and they're saying the word is that word, and some of that stuff is not true. We know that, okay? And they fight for it. They fight for love, and you got to love them. And, it's the Jesus love that neither one of you can see. It's just religion has caused so much turmoil, not spiritual. If both of you are in divine spirituality, you can get over anything. You can get past these ego arguments. But when y'all are fighting, and from a religious standpoint, we're talking wars, we're talking people. We got people right now that are walking here and pull a cord in front of you in the name of whatever. and they can care less. And those are, I'm just saying. So this is a huge thing that you have to understand when it comes down to this. But it's all part of symbolism. It is all part of symbols. Again, it is every man's purpose. And I say man, not as a man as in gender, but human needs to have the ancient knowledge of symbols. You have to know it. You got to learn it. It will open your eyes. It will open your eyes in plain sight everywhere you go. When you see police officers wearing those little badges and arrows, those things are symbols. And it's the symbols of authority, and they have meaning to them, and they wear them with honor. Anyway, we'll get to all that. We're going to get into all of that stuff. When you pass fast food billboards, do you realize how the colors, shapes, and symbols are designed to trigger hunger? Yeah, these things are designed. I was talking to a friend, and she says, you know, I told her about symbols and marketing, and she said, "Isn't that just marketing?" Yes, it's true. She was true marketing as well, but also deliberate intentions too. You can put something together to get people to eat some bad stuff because your best friend owns a pharmaceutical representative and company, and he want to make sure that what you're selling is going to cause people to need his products to sell to his doctor friend, and his doctor friend is going to say, "Okay, we can sell them." And his insurance company say, "Yeah, they work together." They work together. But it starts somewhere on the ground, and it starts with colors and interpretations and things that draw us and have us like the Pavlovian dog theory. It's they work together. And when you're able to identify this stuff, you can make a better decision. Obviously, I got trapped in a lot of it. It's quite obvious that their colors, the aromas, the food stuff have baited me in. It really has, right? And now I'm fighting. I'm fighting every day now as my knowledge increases to change that. In fact, Judith, I don't know if she's here, but starting tomorrow, I'm doing a 10-day detox. I know it's going to be difficult because there's more fruit, water, and stuff. I no meat and all that stuff. And then I'm going to try to go a little more plant-based. So the next 10 days, so I called her up. I said, "Hey, I need an accountability partner." And I said, I'm going to mention it to the audience too, because if we can get more people, this is serious. And it's going to be a mental warfare. It's going to be, but maybe it should be. Maybe I can just do it. But it's going to happen because I do know that the gut is one of the brains that we have, and that thing has a brain on its own. So that's a whole nother conversation. You got Popeyes, you got, and then you got Patti LaBelle dude singing, Popeyes and Patty Pies, and so now we're triggered by music to go run and stand in the line and buy all the Patti LaBelle pies, and somebody else singing about the chicken sandwich, and people are fighting, and that orange color and the stuff is drawing them in. People are fighting over Popeyes chicken. Y'all remember that, right? Why? Because they had a lot of stuff going on with that mess. Okay. Well, anyway, that's cool. All right, Judith is there. Yeah, we're going to do this, and we're going to go and really do some things. Look at our nation's flag. Do the stars, the stripes, and colors hold a deeper meaning, or were they randomly chosen? No, there was not. They had these things from the red, the white, the blue, the stars. Everything about this particular country of ours is meticulously put together, from all the way up there to the Capitol, the buildings, the symbolics, the masonry. Everything is done. But the problem is, it's done so long ago that only hidden knowledge and hidden occult people knows what is happening, but we don't know. They're not telling us. They don't want us to know those things. They don't want us to understand what's happening from there. And they do it on purpose. And yeah, people would get stabbed over that chicken sandwich. Why do some symbols evoke fear and while others inspire trust? Is it instinctive, or is it learned through centuries of manipulations? I've had people think, I've had people look at my sigil and say, "Oh man, I see the Baphomet in it." if he sees that, at first I could say, "Oh, you know, nuts." It ain't even nowhere near, but that's what he saw. I don't know why he saw that, but the intent and all that has nothing to do. It ain't got nowhere close to that from these fish and these owls and this all seeing eye, you know, and the water symbol, all but he would just he didn't know. But I can imagine just what people do these days when they walk in and they see things. Now, again, you know, we all saw the movie Blade, right? You know, I'm a movie buff. In the movie, how Blade was going around catching the other vampires, they had these hidden houses at night where they clubs, but they had symbols on the door that only the vampires knew what it was. Other people were walking in to go clubbing. Y'all remember that, right? Every last one of them. They had that little red symbols, but the people on the street thought it was a cool nightclub. Look at the name; it's all cool. There's red lights and shit in here. They going in there dancing, and boy, when the clock struck 12 or whenever, it was mealtime. But the vampires knew not only that it was a safe haven, a place they can go, because the symbol was sitting there on the doorway. But Blade, look, he's oh yeah, that's a hideout, whatever they call it. But I'm saying it is crazy. You're right. People can't read symbols if they can't read symbols. We're gonna change that though. Over this year, we're gonna go through so many different symbols because there's plenty of it. And let me tell y'all where we're gonna go with this. Hang on a second. Let me see if I got something here. Not long ago, I started building my library, and I started. Also, as scary as it seems, as scary as it seems, or not, when I start using the CIA meditation stuff, I started asking to channel, the channel things, pretty much. And somebody said, Roderick, what happened? I think it froze. Is it working now? Come back. I'm still here. Hey, I'm here. Hello. Y'all can't see me? Roderick, where do you go? I'm here, right? No? We back? Oh, I wonder what happened. It said froze. Okay. All right. So did it freeze after I put the picture up there? This is a new software I'm using. And so we already got glitches already. All right. So, okay, we're going to find out what's happening from there. So when it froze, what happened? Was I gone or was I like that? All right, but we're good now. All right. So we missed the last 45 seconds. So did y'all see my picture with Jordan Maxwell and stuff up there? No? And some of y'all may not be in real time either. So you might need to reload and be in real time because I'm seeing comments of stuff that y'all. All right. So did y'all see my Jordan Maxwell picture and David Icke, my bookshelf? And were y'all able to hear me right after the pick? Okay, it froze. Huh. Froze with the pick. It froze after you put the pick up. Huh. I don't know then. And I have a couple of videos and things I want to show. So that's scary. It showed Jordan Maxwell and David Icke, but you were mute. Oh, really? All right. So I'm going to make a note of that. I can contact these people and see how their software is working. Muted pictures. Huh. But no sound. Okay. Man, I was talking really good. But anyway, if you saw the pictures, basically that bottom row was every book that not Jordan Maxwell, but David Icke has written, and I haven't read them all, but right now I'm on the great that conspiracy with the reptilians, and then the biggest secret. But I have all of that. We saw the pic, but we could not hear you. And and then at the top was all of my symbols books. I have more, but those are the ones that I like the most. And then Carl Jung is over to the right. He was in the middle shelf to let you kind of know that studying archetypes and all those things. And there was some George Maxwell stuff, but then I have a lot of his files. You start talking about your library, show the pic, and then the voice went out. Okay, so yeah, I'll try to figure that out on not this show, but I had some other stuff to show y'all, and maybe it'll work and maybe not. We'll do that. But if you just joining us, I want you to know that starting Monday, we will be live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, 8 p.m. And this thing will start up. Sounds like the name of a painting, Muted Pictures. All right, so we'll get to that. All right, so test phase next time. Yeah, I need to. I should have, and I did put this thing together right up. And so tomorrow I might do some tests tomorrow. So if you guys see me going live, just know that I'm testing, and then I'll erase it. But yes, I definitely need to do some testing tomorrow from now. But we are live. Supposedly, we're supposed to have went live on Instagram tonight, and as well as Facebook, as well as some of the others. So I don't know if all that is working, and but that's what their software said I could do, and I was pushing it to do. Let me go to my Facebook page and just see if I see me talking on Facebook. Maybe I am, and maybe I'm not. Okay, yeah, I'm on Facebook. We got one person watching on Facebook, but all right. So if you are on Facebook watching, put in a chat so I know who you are. But you can't come and join all the rest of us over here off of. We are okay. So yeah, a couple of y'all watching, but I couldn't see y'all. So I got Larry and I have Mark was on Facebook. Okay, so we got a couple of Facebook people watching, but most of the crowd is on YouTube. So, all right, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. Girl from the Bay is in the house. Y'all can say hello. Nursing the Paranormal is in the house as well. And y'all give Theodore just some support there on the show. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, so even traffic signs are loaded with meanings. A simple red octagon meaning stop, but why red and why octagon? And I can even go deeper in that. But if you look over here to the top, if you think about the yield sign, okay, so right here, the sigil that I have up here also has the upside down triangle, but it also, if you want to talk about gender, it is more of a feminine, more passive side, but also for intellect, trust, and all those things. But it also represent water, where the hidden information is. But it also supposed to make a different calm approach to things. This is why they use the upside down triangle, not the one that goes up. Stop signs and octagons in red, but they use the caution one is to go up, but when it's upside down, it means yield, and it's telling you to be submissive. And it's that's what it does. It evokes submissiveness. It evokes the nicer and gentle, supposedly feminine side of all of us, right? And it keeps you from road rage because you got to let people on and off the highway. Period, right? Because that's real dangerous. So they know this and knew this when they created these symbols and highway signs everywhere. These things not just done just because somebody said let's just make it upside down for yield, and caution the other way to make caution going on, and the stop sign red and octagon and the symbolic the symbolism that's into all of these things, and the colors that they are using. Caution is yellow and red is stop, get your attention. Anger, it evokes a lot of stuff, but people don't know. They use these things and they use them religiously when it comes down to how it rolls. So it's something that you want to think about when you look at it. Symbols also are meant to communicate ideas, but what if some of those designs are used to control and form as well. So when you think about the designs, like I said, we'll talk about this a little later, but here's liquid death. And it says rest in peace, peach, really, but they know it's got a skull on this stuff. And we know that water is programmable. That's what it's supposed to be. And why is it something that we don't pay attention to when it comes down to this? But people just don't. We don't pay attention to it. But they feel so familiar and so ordinary, right? And that's because it's resonating on a subconscious level. But what if I told you that some of them are not just tools of communication, but tools of manipulation? And to uncover those true powers, we need to explore the hidden meanings that are buried beneath the surface. And therefore, I introduce you to truth versus authority. Like I said before, if you wasn't here earlier, this is where we're going to go and what we're doing. And it's something that is really, really so important that, we may not get all the views and the things, but if we can help some people, we're going to do some stuff to do it. And this is our way of doing that, pretty much. So let's say, what if symbols you see every day wasn't just, like I said, a random design, but part of a guide and a control, and also to control your thoughts? What if it was designed that way? How many of you right now can remember a symbol or something you've seen or a sign you saw and you just said, "Oh no, I don't like that. I don't even want to go over there." Why did they invent the crossbow, the crossbones, right? Why did they invent all of the poison signs? Or back in the day, the gypsies, when they used to travel, that's how they communicated with other gypsies and people that was trying. They would do symbols. They had symbols that recognized, okay, this is a good town coming up that you can make some money, or don't go to this town, or don't go that place, or pass off this way. And it was all done by symbols, things they made etched or drew on a tree. People didn't know what they mean, but they knew what it was. And that's just how things work, and pretty much from there. We appreciate all the love tonight, fam. Ray Barada, I hope you're doing well. Okay, so I don't see all the chats right now. So if y'all are chatting with each other, good thing that we have some other people in there handling some stuff for you all when it comes to that as well. So we will definitely do that. Becky's World is in the house tonight. Some theorists believe that symbols are like spells, holding a kind of energy that influences us on a subconscious level. What if they're right? What if symbols have a spell? Now, I do know when I activated this sigil, and yeah, isn't symbols our first way to communicate? Kate, you absolutely correct. It sure was. And that's it. And I think that people don't really understand that. But what about spells? Every time they do some type of spell, or they will put or put whatever they witchcraft, they'll do whatever they put it in a circle. The circle does two things: it locks things in and it keeps things out. But it also is the infinity. It's everything goes around, comes around, right? It's they know what these things are doing. Yeah, we got words to spell. We go back, especially if you go back into the book of sacred secrets. I forget which page it's on, but we talk about books and spells and abracadabra. That is a real word, by the way. Of spells, and I don't know if I have it on these pages though. But I mean, which page is on? But it's in here. I don't know if y'all got your copy, but you definitely want to go to the merch store and do that. But yeah, it's spells, and we talk about it in here when it comes down to that as well. Anyway, let me put this back over here for now. But spells, I mean, this is true stuff. I mean, people are definitely looking at things the way they or how they do it, right? You got curves, you got squares, you got triangles, you got words, and they can say certain things. Of course, Doc Beebe said television. You got just all of this stuff, man, is something that you definitely want to pay attention to. And have you ever wondered why pyramids and the all-seeing eye appears in everything from ancient artifacts to modern banknotes? And could they be a coincidence or something more deliberate? And we know it's deliberate. We know the Illuminatis and all that, the pyramid and the 13 levels of the pyramid, the all-seeing eye at the top. All of those things are ancient symbols, but they're saying that this is why they do it and this is why it's working when it comes down to that and everything else. And so anyway, if you are watching us from Facebook, whatever, we're live on YouTube as well. That's where our largest audience, and I just started trying to hook this up, and I'm supposed to be live on Instagram, so I'm not really for sure that's working. Somebody see if y'all can search Instagram and see if y'all see us live on Instagram, and just let me know in the YouTube chat. So if one of our moderators or somebody can check that out. But the pyramids are everywhere. Symbolism is everywhere when it comes down to this. But they have, esoteric and exoteric and exoteric meanings when it comes down to this. And it's all about hidden knowledge, occult knowledge, and what people know. And it's on our dollar bill. It's there. They got so many clues on the dollar bill. They're telling us everything when you look down at that old dollar, from the meaning on this copious of this is our plan is in work now, or from the eagles to the 13 bars. That dollar bill, we're actually going to do a show consistently of that. We probably got to do 2 shows for that, 3 maybe. But there is so much meaning on the dollar that is carried in everybody's pockets, per se, which they're trying to weed it out, as we know, for crypto. And then when you start finding out who's behind that one, everybody's going to be shocked. But anyway, corporations use logos designed to trigger specific emotions, but are they only selling products, or are they selling mind control? Let me see if I have my thing that I'm looking for right here. Hold on. Yep, I do. Matter of fact, I do. Okay, so this one, this one by far is no joke when we talk about corporations and everything else. This is coffee. And like I said, you can find a lot of our brothers and sisters and people out there that are, got brands and companies. And okay, like I said, they may sell in coffee, but they may have a coffee cup, a sugar bear or something, or somebody sipping it. Maybe it's all beautiful cocoa beans looking. Why didn't this company do that? Why didn't Starbucks pick a coffee bean for their brand, but instead they go all the way back to what we thought was a Greek mythology of the siren, which goes all the way back into African culture, by the way. But they used the mythical siren, which, if you know the backstory of this, sigil, now it is a sigil. Even one of the commercials, you go back find their oldest commercial, they call it their muse, our sigil. They don't say our logo. They say our sigil, our muse is this. Now, this mythical creature was known to go out in the oceans and catch not pirates, but sailors. While they're out there, it sings to them, and they see this beautiful woman, whatever, and jumps into the water, and it kills them. It makes them unalive, if we want to use Facebook and YouTube terms. Now, but if you go back right now and you Google and look for it in the 1970s as well, you're going to see that this was not enlarged the way it was. They showed it. So she had breast, her legs are wide open, and the tail is turned this way, with the aroma of the whatever nanny blowing at you mentally, and the breast and all that, and the seduction, by the way. Now, I know for a fact, because I used to do it. I don't go to Starbucks anymore at all. And not because I never drink coffee, but I used to go there and sit for hours and do nothing. Maybe I'm reading, doing nothing. Just because I know it's like some kind of trance that these people have with their stuff. They got that aroma in there, you smelling it, and people just sitting there. They're not talking much. It's like they just got you under some type of seduction and spell, and they're just serving folks. But even their CEO wrote that when they found this company, it was at the Port of Seattle. So they knew they needed some water. But when they walked in, wherever it was, it called to them. This creature called them, and it became their brand. Like I said, it has nothing to do with a coffee bean, but yet it's one of the most recognizable symbols of all times, sigils, by the way, and it has mythical powers. This is what I'm talking about, people. You got to understand that it's no joke when it comes down to these things, and pretty much. So be careful out there, is one thing I would tell you. Think about ancient occult symbols. They persist through ages. And why do secret societies and elite groups cling to them so fiercely? Because they know the power in those symbols. And like I said, go all the way back to ancient civilization, pyramids, and everything else. Every form of communication that we have ever had as humans was done because of symbolism. Everything was done because of symbolism. The whole 9 yards was done because of symbolism, and hitting rituals and mythical powers based on these things. And these things actually are, they're real. But if you go back to ancient cultures, also, what if I told you some of these symbols we find harmless, like the peace sign, may have darker origins? So I know somebody said y'all got that on you. I'm not going to get into it tonight. Go do your ancient work on the peace sign. Okay. So just go do it. And we're going to skip that because I can go deep in that. But I saw someone say y'all having a tattoo. But go check it out. And pretty much. Also, look at architect of major cities. Why do government buildings resemble ancient temples? And could they be esoteric reasons built behind these designs? Absolutely. Absolutely. I took the third eye, that's what I call my drone, out down to some of the churches in downtown Dallas. I picked all the ones that was 100 years old. I'm going to show you all some of those feeds pretty soon. And it was very astonishing to look at the architect, which was just beautiful. You're talking stuff that's built 100 years old, okay? And it's also it's in they all have the temple, which is they would call it the male whatever. Y'all know the male gender. Is pointed all the way up, and it has all these fire signs around it, okay, because that was the meaning. Then it has these archways. All of them had archways, but over every door, and we're going to do a video on this, and I ran around 4 different churches, and I'm going to travel different places for this, but they all had the zodiac windows above each doorway. Now, I think it's Plato and then Socrates or Plato or one of the two said that the zodiac was the gateway to heaven. Why all of a sudden 100 years later, especially in our community, we are told to stay away from zodiac stuff? Now, who trained our preachers and pastors to pass down the information that we should no longer accept zodiac and all of these things? And then we now have churches on every corner in Dallas. So my aunt came here one time and she said, well, if you go to hell in Dallas, it's your own fault. But she says a church on every corner. But if you go to more modern day churches, even new ones, they do not have the zodiac sign nowhere to be found. But go look at some of your older churches. They will have some symbols that will blow you away on the glass and all of these things, because they were a little more divine back then. And they didn't feel there was a total need, because once you walked into the gateway, those doorways and those archways were the symbolic reason of going into portals. The archway represent portals. A lot of these old churches, all the windows was arches, and then every entrance will have some type of zodiac looking thing. And so you have to look at that, man. I think it is something crazy. Let me look in some of the chats here. All Catholic churches are built in the shape of a cross too. Yeah, it's just symbolic, man. A lot of this stuff is symbols. Again, we're going to go through all that. Have you ever noticed that Let's back up for a minute. Think about symbols of power. Like you have the crowns, you got scepters, you got thrones. Why are these objects steeped in ancient realistic design? Because they had meanings. The crowns, the scepters, all of these things have meaning. The magic wand, Hollywood, all of these things have meanings, and when they do, they represented something that unbeknown to a lot of us. And like I said, we're going to cover all that. We're going to get into all of that. I know a pastor that does biblical astrology from time to time. It's pretty interesting. There you go. All right. That'll be somebody I think that will, have some truth in them. You know what I'm saying? And because a lot of them stay away from that. The aquatic rise and the aquatic girl, they stay away from that like it was taboo, when it comes down to that. The other part, have you ever noticed celebrities flash certain hand signs repeatedly, or is it trendy, or are they signaling something? I did the little triangle on this thumbnail just to catch people's attention. Like, hey, boom. But we see them doing it, and we heard, oh man, they represent Illuminati. And they'll not one of them come out and say they don't. But at the same time, we all know that they do. And it's something that you really want to think about when it comes down to that. But that's how they particularly roll when it comes down to this. And so it is something to really think about when you look at this. So we used to see it. We saw hand gestures. You seen a lot of and then I think some celebrities would put it up just so that you think, especially the up and coming ones, like they're part of the Illuminati, and they wasn't. They were just trying to do the stuff because it's cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do in a minute here is I'm going to take this liquid death. Okay, I'm going to open it. All right. I'm going to pour it in this cup. All right. Not this cup. I'm pouring it in this bottle for a reason here. Or ain't that something? Look at this big old can, and it's filling up this little bottle. Boy, you're talking geometry. Thinking you're getting something in here. All right, so I just poured it in there. And what I'm going to do while we're sitting here talking tonight, I'm going to take the book of vibrational codes, and I'm going to pick one. This one is Love in Abundance. Wow, why not, right? So Love in Abundance is the vibrational code. As you know, you can program water, and I'm going to put it here or over there. So let me move this. So I'm going to reprogram this before I drink it. That's the whole intention there, or destroy the room first. But anyway, I'm going to take the vibrational codes. If you bought yours, you should know and use it. You can put it under your pillow as well. But I'm going to sit this over there so it to be programmed. In fact, I'll play my little water code commercial. And y'all let me know. Somebody talking about don't drink it. Y'all let me know if this works. I hope it doesn't mess us up. And let me know if you hear the video, if you heard anything. Let's go right now.
Look at this. Water, simple, ordinary. But what if I told you it holds power to transform your life? Dr. Masaru Emoto proved it. Your thoughts and intentions can alter the very structure of water. Imagine turning this truth into a daily practice. Introducing the vibrational codes. These codes, combined with ancient sacred geometry, chakra alignment, and positive affirmation to infuse in your water, your food, even your spaces with the energy of love, prosperity, and healing. It's not magic. It's science meeting intention. The energy you need is already within you. Vibrational energy codes will help you unlock it. Download it now and start shaping your reality with the power of intention. Ready to awaken? Let's dive back into the video. Look.
All right, let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if I'm back, if you lost me, because I need to know if this little new system is working right. Put it in the chat. Let me know I'm still here, and we're still here. Let me know, and let's go that so I'm not frozen. But come on, give me a chat. Let me know you're here, and let me know you was able to hear the volume of that video, and you saw that video as well. So we will go there pretty much from there. So just kind of let me know. And let's see. We're still here. Let me know. All right. And okay, it worked great that time. I know I'm not going to really drink this because it's still got sugar and all that shit in it that I don't need to be drinking. But I'm still going to reprogram it regardless because I believe that love and abundance needs to be in there. So it like I said, sitting on the codes and stuff. And pretty much. Okay, so that worked out really good. And pretty much. So let's continue to go down what we're doing. Let's continue to do that from there. Also, again, consider the logos of tech companies where Apple, serpents, and other biblical imagery are so common in the industry driven by science because they know sacred geometry. Apple and the bite of the apple, the symbolic of that, they know what they are doing. Why isn't it not time that we do it? Why don't we now begin to say it is time for us to, what's the word I'm looking for? It is time for us to use the power of this stuff. We're going to do it. We're, like I said, we got some symbolism symposiums coming up, private areas. And speaking of private areas, in 2024, I was really lacking, especially our private membership area. I know a lot of you are on the Curious Minds. I think that's the $299. If you can, make sure if it's in your budget to go to the Truth Seeker of $699 because that's where starting next week, I'm going to put a lot of some videos and personal talk videos that I cannot say the keywords on YouTube. So I'm going to put it in the private areas. And then, there are some of you got guardians of the secret levels. There are some things we're going to do. So we're going to start pouring a lot of stuff in that area, especially when I'm out, doing what I'm doing, driving to some of these places. I got my action cams and all that stuff that we will use, or my iPhone, and it's my action cam. And we will do all of those things and pretty much from that. How much the liquid? You know what? What I normally do is that I will put my liquid on this coat. So I would do water though. So I would take the label off the water and I will put it on here probably an hour, just kind of sitting there because it really not going to take long because it's the tree of life. So and then I would then take my water and then I use my hydrogen bottle and then I drink it from there. So I reprogram it and then do the hydrogen water. It's really cool. So like I said, but regardless, I spent $12. These things was $4 a pop, right? So I figured, I'm not going to drink it like that, but we definitely reprogram it. But I know y'all saying stay away from this mess. We would do that. All right. So yeah, take your power back. That's what you want to do. And also, have you seen advertisements that made you act without realizing, like symbols that often carry commands that you're not even aware of that you are following? They got a lot of stuff like that, They got a lot of advertising that provoke. I was sitting there watching a Frito commercial recently, and they had the 666 ranch on this thing, and they made sure they suddenly showed it. And then I didn't realize it was a real thing until I was watching some show. I think it's the Landman or something or whatever, but the 666 ranch was actually one of those deals. But to think about all of that, from advertisements to simple stuff. I was watching an old SpongeBob, or was it SpongeBob or Bart System thing or whatever. And it was an old video and it was showing that he was making cheese, right? And it had a little similar line, and the symbol was but the way he was popping a hole through the cheese, he was using his little red rocket, and then he will use his butt, and it's like kids are watching this stuff. And if you go to the Minions now, I think they're doing it now. They're now doing guns and all. They're doing so much stuff. In Texas, recently in November, you can Google it yourself. Texas passed a new law or rule at the school district or whatever, rules at the school district, that they're now going to teach elementary kids mandatory, if the school chooses so, to adopt it, Christianity. They not other religions. They ain't worried about all these other religions. You can be Muslim, you can be, well, no, Christianity. It's going to be done in the school. And then they gave each school a $60 per kid incentive plus $60 for material. You think they're not going to sell your kids out for $120 and it means millions of dollars to each district? But why is the question, not what they're doing. Why do they feel that our kids are growing up, getting out of control, and they need to get the programming back done because it's not getting done at home? That's why they're doing it. And they passed it, by the way. So they're saying we need to go back in control. We got to go back in control. We gotta get, because they're getting out of hand. We got to control them. And don't think they're all on the same place. The people who does rap music that's forcing one hand, they got their agenda. The ones over here got the religious, got their agenda. These Illuminatis and the Masonry, all that, they're broken up into a whole lot of hideous, insidious groups. They're not all working in unison, but they all have a plan and their own ideology for New World Order. They do. All right, so many occultists believe that symbols can act as a kind of energy key, and could this explain why some elites surround themselves with them? Absolutely, they could do that. And they do surround themselves with some of this stuff purposely, because that's how they are rolling. They surround themselves purposely because that's how they're rolling, and they do, and pretty much. And so, yeah, they're doing it in the poor districts, and pretty much. That's why Denzel's now a minister with a public Baptist. I wouldn't doubt it. All right, so, but what if hidden symbols and architect logos, entertainments are breadcrumbs, though? What if they're leading us toward an understanding who's really in control? We can talk about the serpents. We talk about even the Vatican Hall, which is within the snake's mouth. You can go back into the serpents, which serpents can lead back to reptilians, okay? Lizard people or whatever. And David Icke talks about that all the time, the reptilian codes, the whole 9 yards. It is crazy how all of these things play out. Virtually crazy, but in plain sight. And you know what? We do not question none of it. Nobody questions any of it. Now, we associate freedom. Think about this. Right now, the American eagle represents freedom. But what if that symbol found countless in empires? It was meant to signal of dominance and not liberty. The eagle, when the Romans and all of them marched down with that eagle head, they wasn't coming down talking about liberty. They was talking about dominance, the whole 9 yards. But you can use those symbols. So, for example, I have on my sigil, if you see up there on the screen, there's 2 fasci. Now, fasci will go all the way back to fascism or Roman governments, but because that's what they use. But the whole symbol itself, with the collaboration of broken sticks and a tied rope and with the axe head was the power of God, was collaboration also. And they mean we come together. That's why they're on both sides of the house. But for me, in our sigil, it was time for truth seekers to begin to collaborate and to conquer the elites that are trying. Well, I can't say conquer because we're not going to do that, but it's truth versus authority, so that we could collaborate to fight back, to keep ourselves in the right place when it comes down to this mind control and all of these things. And that's why I use the fasci symbols for power, protection, collaboration, and people coming together. And of course, they all seeing eyes right there in the middle. And usually I have it on the middle of this hat, but these things have a deeper meaning. And it's what you begin to harness the power of it. So that same power of the fascism or fasci symbol could be used for this, or it can be used for that. It's what you do it. Now, of course, the Baphomet was created to do those things. So now we're starting to see that symbols aren't as innocent as they are, but they're just not decoration, they're tools. But what are the tools for exactly will be the question. And to answer that, we need to follow, I would say, a trail of evidence into what we call history, the culture, conspiracy. And we'll start connecting some of those dots with some of those questions. And like I said, if you're just jumping in with us, make sure you set those alerts. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be going live at 8 o'clock. There won't be a lot of countdown, so that means that you would definitely need to jump right on at 8 o'clock. So make sure y'all set your times, and then I'll make sure I get started really quickly and no delays and all that. Listen, there's a few announcements. We would do that. So I just want you to kind of know from there. So we will be live streaming right now, supposedly. And did anybody check Instagram for me or not? Did y'all check to see? Could you find me on Instagram? And because it's supposed to be live on Instagram, you know, and maybe I have to do it separate by itself or something. I don't know, but check my profile, Real Roderick Martin. See if you see us on Instagram. Give me a yes or a no, you know, and say no Instagram, yes Instagram, since I don't know what y'all talking about. But I need somebody to check that for me. All right, so as we go into some of the modern examples of, it'll be 8 Central Time. I'm sorry. 8 Central Time, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I was going to try to do some daytime stuff like 3 p.m. I may even try that stuff around Tuesday and Thursday. I just need to see the best time for us to operate. But I think these things are better talked about at night. But you can take the Egyptian eye, the eye of Horus, which I was just talking about here. Some say it's a symbol of protection, but others believe it represents surveillance and control. And why does it appear on the dollar bill? I think it means surveillance. I do think it means those things, and that's why we call it the third eye sitting here. This is why it's part of our not live on Instagram. Okay, man. No social media here, but YouTube, Discord. Oh, okay. So it's definitely one of those things that the all-seeing eye is the symbol of, or looking within or seeing beyond or whatever you want, but the illuminated and all that stuff, or they are watching us and so I have it because we are watching them. Yes, that was the purpose of it, is that us as truth seekers, we are watching them. Okay. And it's important that we know that. And if you join us on Facebook right now, we're live on YouTube, which is where most of the chats is. So if you get off there and come there as well and get into the chat. And sorry that we're not live on Instagram. Wow, that is so crazy. That's the only reason I got this new service to do that. So why do the Freemasons adopt the squares and compass? Could it symbolize their role in shaping society? Or who gave them this knowledge? We know the Freemason sign has a lot of stuff. Not the G doesn't stand for God, and we know they use the compass. We know they got the squares. We know all of these have symbols. So we will break down throughout our journey this year what the simple square means, okay? We will break that down. In fact, let me take a detour, and I'm going to do this right now. So let me see if I can place. All right. So up here, you see the sigil. And in fact, let me see if I can switch hats for you so that you'll see it a little better on top of my head than the bottom of my head. Let's do this. Hang on. Okay, so I'm going to give you a crash course real quick to understand. All right, so on top of my head, the sigil, I'm using the upside down triangle. So let me kind of get into it a little bit real quickly as a sidebar here. Triangles are everywhere. I just want you to know they're one of the most simplest shapes in geometry, but they're also one of the most powerful ones out there. And you probably notice them in logos, warning signs, and even designs of famous monuments or whatever. But what if I told you that the variation of this shape, upside down triangle, has hidden meanings tied to power, control, and mystery? All right. So as you know, I have it upside down. Okay. The upside down triangle isn't just a design choice. I didn't choose it just for design. For centuries, this symbol has been associated with subversion, inversion, and even rebellion against the natural order. Let me read that to you again. The upside down triangle isn't just a design choice that I chose. It is on every shirt. In fact, all of our shirts that we have. In fact, that's a commercial break, 30 seconds here. But it is on all of the shirts for a reason, because I feel that it's time to start a rebellion. And through that rebellion, if you wore them, we need to be protected. And some people don't even know they're being protected, but they are. Check this. So once again, like I said, the rebellion of it all is what it is or what it do, and pretty much. All right, so did we freeze again? Let me know what is happening here. So just trying to make sure we're all good. But anyway, so cool rebellion, yes, through symbols, baby. That's how we're going to do it. So the upside down triangle isn't just a design choice. For centuries, this symbol has been associated with subversion, inversion, and even rebellion against the natural order. And some believe that its representation of divine power turned on its head is a symbol of hidden agendas or secret things. And yes, we are doing some secret stuff together, and pretty much. What is nope? Somebody's saying. Not frozen. Okay, cool. Thank y'all. All right, so we're good. All right. In ancient alchemy, the upside down triangle represented water. Okay. This is exactly why I put it up there and why the symbol and sigil is blue. Now, of course, water is a life-giving element, but also associated with mystery and the subconscious. And in some culture, is tied to femininity, creation, of course, and divine womb. But here's where it gets strange sometimes. The symbol also is being used as secret society and cult groups as a marker of hidden knowledge. And yes, water is the place where hidden knowledge is, okay? It's where hidden knowledge is, where human bodies without an apparatus can't go. Fish is the only creature that accesses the realm of the hidden. Now, if you think about aliens, if you want to think about all that, where are they hiding? Mostly underground in water. Why? Because we can't go there. Not without a submarine or oxygen something, but if we can literally, if we didn't have the technology we have today, they can hide. They've been hiding there for centuries, a place that we can't go. And we talking about the symbolic things of water and also the energy of it and everything else. This is why I have two fishes, one on each side. Some people say, Roderick, it's the Pisces because you're a Pisces. Okay, you can use that. But two fish is our access to the sacred places. That is why I have it there, and is why it is on. And this is why we are truth seekers. We need access to the sacred information in all of those places. Okay, so that's the other part when we're talking about this triangle. Even today, the upside down triangle shows up in unexpected places, and why does it so appear often in symbols of authority and influence? And a lot of them know it has a secret meaning. And that's one of the reasons we do that. Some theorists believe that the upside down triangle is a deliberate signal used for powerful elites. By inverting the symbol of creation and balance, it represents dominance, control, and turning natural order into chaos. This could the simple shape into be orchestrating something else. Yeah. So we harnessing that power. We're going to use it for the truth seekers. Because the power is there for anybody who has the knowledge what to do with it. And that's why it's representing truth versus authority. That's why this whole sigil is within a circle around it for protection. And we're going in some areas and we're going to be looked at by some strange folks. We need to be protected. And then just like they use, we have the little simple little owl right there for hidden knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those things that we need to look into, but it's not look into it. You're protected though. You're all protected. Do y'all follow where I'm going with this? Put it in the chat if you follow where I'm going and understand now where we need to go and why we're going to get into a lot of that this year to do what we're doing from there. And make sure again, you all like and share this video, share these live streams so we can get that algorithm to understand. Because when we start talking about symbolism and symbols and all that, it's not going to push it out that much. Okay, but we want it to, so we have to really do what we're doing to push it out. So that's something that is important for us to look into. The other part is, if the upside down triangle carries much symbolic weight, why is it so widely used today? Because it does. And could it be a coincidence, or are we looking at a deliberate pattern in plain sight? In plain sight. So I wear this in plain sight. In fact, I don't even know if y'all can see it, but you may can see it and you may not. Let me see here. Let me see. I even have it in more realistic view. I don't put it up a lot, but it may can change. Okay, so let me know if y'all can see the same symbol, if you can see it up there at the top. But now that's what I call my realistic. It's got my owl, the eye, the two fish. It's real cool. I just got it up there, and all that stuff. And but I just want to know if you see it. And pretty much, and make sure y'all hit that like button and understand what we're doing. And let's get out of this though. I'm gonna get out of this now, and so we can get back into our conversations. Just like I said earlier, if you look at medieval architects, we're talking about gargoyles, pentagrams, labor. These designs wasn't just anesthetic. They didn't put a gargoyle on top of a building just to be doing it. They carried esoteric meaning tied to protection and spiritual control. So just know, back in the day when you're walking down and you see these two gargoyles sitting up there, yes, there's going to be some things that you want to pay a close attention to and some things that you want to know about, right? Because they weren't playing with this stuff, people. They weren't playing. I'm going to see if I can get access to my Google Drive, and then I'll show y'all some stuff as well. But they was not playing when it came down to these things that we're doing. And these people, they're just not playing. They're not playing. They're just not playing with us. And hang on a minute. So just see if I have what I want to show you. Maybe. Yeah, I do. Okay. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen. And I can do it this way. All right. So basically what I'm gonna do, let me see if I can share the image with y'all. And then I'm gonna upload it here from the downloads. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there's one right there. There's one right there. Okay, hang on. At least I think I'm uploading. Oh, too big. All right, so anyway, it's a little too big to show y'all, but okay. Y'all can see it up there if you can. Somebody said, I don't think they're playing with us. Yeah. So think about the serpent, which is a recurring symbol in many cultures, from the Bible, the Garden of Eden, to Aztec, to Quetzalcoatl. And why do these figures oscillate between wisdom and deceit? They do. like the pentagram, the hexagram. These are prominent in both occult rituals and major religious icons. And could these symbols hold a dual purpose? A symbol can hold a dual purpose. The circle has a purpose. It can be held for, like I said before, to keep something in, or a spell to keep you trapped, or something to keep somebody out. In this case, it is a circle made here for protection, to keep them from entering us, to keep those elites and all those people from piercing our truth seeker circle. And it was done on purpose to do that. And that's something that, we need to check into from there, or not check into. We're doing it already. In corporate logos, you often see subliminal shaped like arrows, like I said, the FedEx, and animal forms or eyes. Is this design brilliant, or is it something more sinister? Like I said before, this one right here, I'm going to put on the board, and I'm going to add it to the stream here. Hang on. Okay. So this is the Shell symbol. Most people think it's a Shell gas station. They try to fool you, but that is the sun worship. That's the sun, and it changes just a little bit, but that is sun worshiping in their meaning. And who does that? The Illuminati people and groups and billionaire folks. Okay, so they name themselves the shell companies, but man, that is not what that is. That is the sun logo, the sun. They're representing the sun, and then it has two triangles, in between triangles, which is at the bottom down there, because we think that's a square, but it's not. There's two triangles there. And so they are sending their messages. Yeah. And the rays, the rays of the sun. That just is what it is. And they put that right in front of us. And so people, but it tells you the origins of who they are. It tells you the origins of who they are. So that's the caveat behind all of this, is what I'm trying to allude to when I talk about those things. When you talk about the owl, the owl is seen symbol of wisdom, but it's also linked to secret groups like Bohemian Grove. In fact, like I said, there's an owl. I have it up here on this one. You can kind of see it. It's holding everything up, but it's holding our truth versus authority logo up. It really is. Of course, I got the yin yang, truth versus authority. It's like a dual power fight. I'm wearing this yin yang shirt, but it's truth versus authority. And they look at these things, but it all, again, they all also represent wisdom. It represent hidden knowledge and all that. So why be fitting that it is on the sigil that I created? You're welcome to it, but it's the sigil I created, right? You can consider Disney. Some of the theorists claim that it's embedded with hidden symbols in their animation. There are shapes, letters, and designs. We can barely notice it, but it's there. There's some stuff that they were showing. If you make Disney upside down, it had some other kind of words. It was stuff that prediction stuff, man. This stuff was crazy to that work. Y'all give a shout out to the godmother of the channel for supporting the show tonight. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I really appreciate it from there. And you're talking about the Olympic Games. We know that one has a whole lot of stuff and prominent figures interlocking rings, but what do they represent? Unity. But why do occults point them as connection to ancient mystery schools and all of that stuff? And so it's a whole different story when it comes down to royal families. They use crests filled with lions and dragons and eagles, with ancient powers that they're signaling. What are they talking about? There's a lot of stuff. We're going to go over every one of these things we can find. We're going into symbolism, and like I told you before, I did the trademark the Symbolizer. Yeah, yes, I did. And because we're going to go on a journey together, and we're going to study, and we're going to do some great stuff together. And I think it's important that we do that. And we pretty much. Another part would be we can talk about the pyramids of Giza and all of the alignment to the stars, suggests knowledge of cosmic symbolism and stuff that we don't even understand. We don't even know who built the damn things. Well, we can speculate, but the point is, we didn't build them today, and people know that. So it's things that we're going to do, and pretty much. So if we go that route, I think I talked about it New Year's Eve as far as us doing symbols and symbolism, and it'll lead us down occult knowledge. It's going to lead us down religious stuff. It'll lead us down a building and architects and people. Are you all down with it? Yeah, oh yeah. Symbolism is in the music. We have that. We talk about that in the book of the this book right here. I think some of you got your copies of that, but this is the in here of Sacred Secrets. It talk about the music and all of that stuff, and we go into all of that. So if you haven't got your copy, you definitely want to take a look in our stuff and check it out. There you go. Merch. You can do that pretty much, and yeah, we're so good with that one. We are good with that one. And again, like I say, thank you everybody. Yes, and how do the Pentagon and CIA and all of that spread this stuff? Yeah, it's a lot going down. But so let me know if you all are into it. Like I said, it's still going to keep us in line with alien stuff, but it is time. And like I said, we're going to talk about natural law. If you never know about that, it is stuff that everybody needs to know. Natural law is so important that it's crazy important. Natural law is like the most important thing we need to be knowing today. Okay. So if I didn't see enough of you answer that, but if you want to go down a route, like I said, we'll get out, visit some buildings, we'll do some stuff, people, talk about this thing. I'm all into it. I'm into truth versus authority. So I just need to know, are you responding to it? And today I would just kind of lay out a direction of things. This is in our future shows starting Monday. It's going to be more Pacific. We may talk about a Pacific symbol and then the good and bad about it, how we can use it, how we can do those things. Tonight, I just was going over all the different possibilities of what we're going to do when we're talking about symbolism, truth versus authority, and everything else. And so I'm just trying to get feedback from you all, because I'm going on a journey and I want you to go with me. And there's a reason, again, like me and Judith, I'm doing a 10-day cleansing detox. And then I'm going to try to go into a little more. I'm going into more plant-based and stuff. And I know it's going to be the first few weeks, probably be difficult. I've heard that it is, but I'm going to need everybody's support, because starting Monday, tomorrow, I think we start tomorrow. And then if any of you want to join us and get the recipes of things that we're doing, just reach out, and then we can do that. All right. Thank you, Aquatic Rising, and everyone else. All right. So Diana says she's gone. Okay. No, goodbye me. I thought she said goodbye. No, she's still here. All right. So yeah, we're going to do this. Take the concept of sacred geometry. Now, this shows up in nature, but it also shows up in architect. And why does this mathematical perfection shows up in places of power and rituals? It's important. Like I say, Pepsi was done by a sacred geometry. I'm going to see if, in fact, do we even have that logo? And if we can even find it. Matter of fact, let me see if just to see if I could put it up here. But let you know, I found somebody released their hidden stuff. Well, I forget what it was called, but they found it, and incredibly, you could let me go back to this thing. And I found the stuff, and it, like I said, it has a crazy meaning to it, a crazy meaning. And these people knew exactly what they were doing when they made this thing. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. And why don't we do that though? Is what I'm trying to say. Why don't we ourselves begin the process of learning how to use some of these things for ourselves? Why don't we do that? And I think that's important, and we can find that power for ourselves. Um, and that is something that we should do, right? Am I right or wrong? I think I'm right when it comes to that. But so real quickly, as we find this, let me see if this works for us. Hopefully, it does. Let's see. No, okay. So for some reason, it's going to take smaller. Oh, there we go. All right. So let's do that one. We're going to stop sharing that one, and we're going to do that one. All right. So take a look at this right now. All right. When you look at this logo or sigil or branding, what do you think when you see this red, white, and blue, the shape, the whole 9 yards? Do you feel anything when you see this? Do you think of anything? Does it look just bland to you? Like, oh, they just put some colors together. Is it recognizable? What do you think is happening with this particular brand that they did? Roderick Martin was said that our architects and engineers can't replicate the ancient pyramids and et cetera with modern day technology. They cannot. Nope, they can't. We don't have nothing to build those things. We don't have nothing to put those rocks and big old giant stuff and line it up. We don't. And we just don't. But what do y'all think when you look at this can? What are you thinking when you look at this? Somebody said having a Pepsi can. That's something to think about. Yeah, take a look at America. All right, so and why do you think of America? Because America has you trained of the red, white, and blue of what it is, and so yeah, they can do that. But it's actually using sacred geometry. It's standing for global dominancy and all of this stuff. And the way that wave is going, it's almost like it's provoking and emotional. When we do a show on Pepsi, I'm sure they're gonna come after me there because they're gonna be like, "How did you find our document?" And like I said, it's 30-some pages. I'm gonna put it up for people to see it, and you're going to be able to look at it, and you're gonna see they got this little thing turned like 20 different ways, and every percentage it tells them it's going to provoke this. It's going to provoke this emotion, this emotion. So they knew where and which way they wanted turned a certain way in sacred geometry, all the stuff that they used to create this thing, and pretty much. But yeah, somebody said I was thinking of a flag. It again, it's one of those things that will take you down the path. And so, and it goes all the way, like I said before, from the church buildings to you name it. It is very, and they didn't spend billions of dollars, not bill. They probably spent millions, but $1 billion corporation ain't just playing. Okay, they're not just playing. They know that they need to provoke emotive and subconscious things when they put these things together. When we do this, you're talking about the checkerboards. Oh my God, symbolizing duality, found in everything from Masonic lodges to designs to fashion, the whole 9 yards. This thing is you got people in places you go and they have checkerboards everywhere on purpose, and all of that. They want you to understand what's going on. Monica says many countries have red, white, and blue hallmark. There you go. It's just things that somebody think of Michael Jackson. How are you, my friend? And there you go. And his commercials and all this stuff. So the brand of Michael being there with them, they knew. These people know what's going on with this kind of stuff. But we're starting to see the pattern emerge. And the symbols aren't just relics of past. They're infiltrated our everyday lives. But if they're all connected, then who's pulling the strings? That's the question that we all want to know. And to find those answers, we need to go beyond symbols and we need to dive into agendas. Those are things that we really need to look at. So what if the same symbols were uncovered? You talk about pyramids, serpents, and all seeing eye are all tied to the same groups with the plans for global control. Now, I don't know where to go with you from there, but I do know that it is an issue when it comes down to the scenario of what we're talking about. Okay. And it's not a good thing. But it's an issue. David Icke talks more about the archons, the reptilian races, and I've been doing a lot of research, and I'm finding that is probably some true stuff. Species. So we could since we all know that we're not alone in the universe, we can agree on that. It's truth seekers. But we also can understand that if that's the case, then there's something else ruling or in charge of what we do. And so we have to be really careful of that, right? And that is exactly what he's saying, that there's people and things. Now, he talked about how they feed off our energy. And it makes so much sense that they spend so much time to keep us in low vibration. And that's what I'm telling you. For me to dedicate what I'm doing, and again, I keep this little scroll down here. Let me turn this thing. If you want hats and shirts, and well, I don't have. You got to go to the store for the hats. That's the Truth versus Authority .store for hats. I don't have the hats up there, but you can get some of the shirts and stuff. But as far as the merch and all that stuff, you can do it here. But we are a community funded show, right? So this is why I have this thing screaming across the stream, all that. But it's up to you. Give whatever you have your heart. But this is how we do, and it'll allow us to do some deep stuff. So just know that we're going to be doing some deep things, and pretty much from there. But David Icke, like I said before, when I put the image up, and I was talking earlier, and I got all his books. I realized in order for me to serve everyone, I need to really begin to work even better. So I've tooted my horn about my diabetic medication being cut off. And now I'm still got to keep working on what I'm eating, doing a little better exercising. And I'm like, man, if I really need to help, not only lead and do some things that I'm doing, how better can I be? And so this 10-day detox, like I said, it's going to be work. And it's expensive too. Oh my God, just healthy, but it's going to be worth it. Getting the gut and then clearing out years and years of programming and all of this stuff. And so we're going for it, baby. And like I said, me and Judith is being partners and accountability. And if anyone else want to join us, it's a 10-day detox though. But it is what it is. We just have to kind of do. Yeah, there you go. It's why the big secret there. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's put that on the screen. Girl from the Bay. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to know that we are a community funded place. So what if the same symbols were uncovered? We talked about that. Some theorists argue that the New World Order uses symbols as a signature, marking their influence on everything from politics to entertainment. And if you think there is not a New World Order agenda, shame on me and everybody else out here who's trying to tell you. We need to do a better job, okay? Because these people are working towards something. Every little thing, every little test, these drones, all of this stuff, and creating Project Bluebeam, all of these things are going toward New World Order. And that is where they was going. And we got to think about those things. And so, yeah, Lauren, you're correct. They did ban David Icke, and and you know what? He managed to do his own thing. But one of the things my plans is to, as well, is to put some of that stuff. YouTube don't mind us putting it behind the paywall there because it's not public for kids and anyone to see, or anyone, period. But we're going to be doing that. So, like I told you, y'all, if you have not, and if you do have an opportunity and you can upgrade from the $2.99 to the $6.99, not only be appreciative, but it will, it's going to open the doors for the Truth Secret videos and above. And so we're going to be doing that for show. So I just want you kind of know pretty much. Yeah, Davey got it out there, man. Like I said, I got every book that he's written. And now just kind of finding the time to say, okay, this is what we're going to do pretty much. Now, I will probably in a little bit open up the lines because this is a new system. I don't even know if it'll work, but only if you guys are talking about symbolism. We're not talking about symbolism. I don't, does not come up. And if you don't have anything to pour into symbolism, don't come up. Not right now. Okay. I just want to kind of, this is me opening up 2025, our direction, where we're going to go, my commitment, what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be doing it, and what it's going to take. It's going to take going to some areas. I even went to some cemeteries. I went to some cemeteries a few months ago to look at symbols on graves. Go to some of the older cemeteries. Them people speak from the dead. They speak from the dead. There are some stuff on these tombstones and these wood rocks, and there are even headstones that have tree stumps. Okay, and there's two types. There's this wood company, not wood company, but this lodge or whatever, and it also represent people who were lives was taken too soon. They would put these symbolic wood stump type of headstones and some in young kids and stuff with people that was and I went to an old cemetery not knowing. I was there with my drone and I was back to back and people were watching me, and I was like, man, they're gonna call the police. And I'm like, this brother back here filming. But on my way out, I looked at the sign and said historic colored cemetery. But there was a section back there that was all Masons, right? It was Masons and Eastern Stars, and I'm like, this is a whole community. And I still wonder today, being in our community, how much did we know? But then there was a lot of people that was not African American buried there, and then you thinking, do they care? Like, man, why do you bury in a colored cemetery? But the whole point I'm saying is, these people had so many of these weird different symbols and stuff that they were speaking from the grave. Now, when I got the freaking out of there, it's because I started feeling like something was trying to attach and follow me. And I'm like, I ain't taking nobody home with me. Forget that. So now I got my protection. I go back and I'm like, okay, we're going to do it. But we're going to film that. Yeah, but go to older cemeteries. You will get some creative. So I got some videos. I'll be doing it more with the drone because you can go in some places, and I'd rather let it fly over somebody and look down on their grave than me walking over there and walking over them, because there's some people, man, they want to get out of there. They need to latch and get the freaking out of there. Excuse my French. But yeah, and so we're gonna visit a lot. We're gonna do that. My goal is to take us on a journey. Okay, as the symbolizer. And why did I think of the symbolizer? Because the equalizer, as you know, Denzel Washington is the vigilante of justice and whatever. The symbolizer is the vigilante of truth versus authority. So I trademarked it. I filed for the trademark. Wasn't it good? What do y'all think about that first, though? Roderick Martin, the symbolizer. And then we're going to be talking about symbolism and symbols, right? Was that good? Was that okay? Was that creative? Yeah, I know it was. Come on, man. Give it to me. And think about our first symbolism symposium. And if any of y'all know brother Joseph, we're going to be doing some stuff together here in Dallas. Courtney, we're going to be doing some symbolism and psychic stuff. So imagine speaking from the other side. Oh my God. I hope y'all are ready. We're going to do webinars. We got to do small things to fund what we're doing, but giving the value of this stuff. But the main thing that I'm planning on doing is to make sure that you or somebody tell me I'm not Graves. No, I don't blame you. I got the man. I had the weirdest. I was like, I got to go. Ooh, I'm leaving. But anyway, but the main thing is to give you the knowledge of all these particular different symbols and how to use them for yourself, how to use them to bring in, not just life, but bring in dreams, bring in the spiritual side of things, because they do it. They do it in rituals. Why not us now exposing the power and then you learning it and you applying it in your daily life? Is that something you would like? Let me know. Put a thumbs up or some stuff, and let me know, because we're going that route. But I need y'all to spread the word. I need y'all to be sharing the videos. So we're going to be doing lives, and then we're doing uploaded videos as well. So we're going to be doing them both, and I need y'all to watch, share, so we can build this channel and get ad sponsors and all that stuff to pay for the journey. Other than that, I'll be seeing that chat that you see going down there the whole show, and appreciate the ones who have already decided to do that. So why do secret societies like the Illuminati, we got the Freemasons, Skull and Bones, they are obsessed with ancient symbols? Could they be drawing power from them? Yes, they are. This is my power sigil, and you draw power from it, and so can each one of you. So when we talk about within the book of the sacred secrets and all that stuff, there's things in there. In fact, it's a good time to jump.
Look at this. Ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science both point to a shocking truth. Reality, as we know, is a projecting of the mind. But what if I told you there is a way to awaken beyond it? Hidden in text and symbols throughout history lies a key, a tool for unlocking your divine potential, from activating the pineal gland to harnessing the Christ oil within your body. This knowledge was suppressed for centuries. Why? Because it empowers you. You are the temple, and thoughts become reality. This is not just a theory, it's a practice, a way to tune your mind, your body, your spirits to higher frequencies. It's time to reclaim the divine self. It's time to awaken. The journey starts here. Download the guide below and activate your higher self. Now, let's get back to the video.
All right now. So anyway, the link is in the description if you decide that you need to get you a copy, and you should if you hadn't, because we're going that route. We're going that route. We're going deep. I'm going on a journey, and I want to take you with me. I want to learn from the journey, learn from each other, work things out, doing the stuff that we're doing, making sure that we have what we're doing. I even did a new ebook that I put up called The Shadows of Deception. And this is a compilation of all of the hidden shadows of deception. It took me a long time to put this shit together, though. And it's an easy read, but it's about 100 and some pages from all of the deepest conspiracy stuff, because I felt that, hey, I need to not only put this product together, but at the same time. And I even put a little video for it too. It's about 20 seconds. I'll show you. But the website, I thought I can show y'all, but the last time it had some stuff. But on the website, if you go to a shadowsofdeception.com ebook, though, okay, you got to go to /ebook. But here's the kind of promotion of the video. Okay, check it.
They say ignorance is bliss. But what if the truth is far more terrifying than anything you could imagine? The world is a stage, and we are merely pawns in their game. They control the narrative, and they manipulate your thoughts. They watch your every move. But who are they? The ones who lurk in the shadows. The ones who pull the strings. The ones who feast on your fear. Are you ready to break free?
What y'all think about that? That's my little. It's on my website where the book is, and it's an image. And I know, like I said, it may freeze some stuff up, but let's just. All right. So hopefully that works. So let me know if it didn't freeze and you can still see me. Let me know if you can still see me. Are we good? That is the question for today. All right. So are we good? That's the question I have. If you see it, are we good? So let's continue our journey and kind of see where we're going for that. I don't know why I've been getting all of these different I don't know. It's all work. Okay, so we are good. So cool. All right. So it didn't freeze like it did the last time. We are good. Thank y'all. So let's continue. So that is the part of things. So let's continue. Think about corporate powerhouses. Their logos often mimic occult symbols, like I said earlier. Are they signaling their allegiance to the hidden elites and suddenly programming us to obey? So let me put this up here. He says, could you please touch on symbolism and astrology in these elites, and why are they so invested in the Lucifer telescope? If there's well, first of all, astrology is connected to religion, especially to the gateway of heaven. Okay, and Plato or Socrates, one of them, it is the gateway to heaven. Now, if you think about it, why we have been told to stay away from astrology is because it does. It's no happenstance that we all are born between certain signs, and those things do predict certain behaviors, the moon, all of these things. But when you get down to astrology, whether it's 13 months versus 12 months, being March being actually the first month of the month of the seasons, or the 4 seasons that we see in the Last Supper, that they represent actually those, or was it but astrology, again, if you go through all those old churches, or there as a gateway to heaven. Now think about it today as we get into the modern day churches, I should say, or traditional, or one or the other, then they rule it out completely. Now, somehow, some kind of way, it's been, if it is the gateway, and it is to get us to those other sides, there's nothing better than keeping people here in this soul trap, or this planet recycling, because we can't get out, because we're not using the methods to get out. So we'll go into it deep. There's a lot of other people here, like David. A lot of these people into astrology. Eventually, we can bring them on at some point and talk about this stuff in more of a symbolic way, because everything now in the future will be based on symbolism. As far as the Lucifer telescope, I'm not too far familiar with that, and so we'll get the researchers to kind of look more, to give you more defend. I've heard the term, but I never really. Anytime I just saw the word Lucifer, I just, okay, we know where we're coming from with this. But the telescope versus James Webb, or the real literally, or all these things. But there's the yellow book, not the yellow book, but the device that can see the past, future, and stuff. So all it may not be connecting, but the terminology of these things. So immediately, again, I'll have to get more information on the Lucifer telescope. Now, if you got some information about it, put it in the chat. I will put it up on the screen and we can discuss it. So this is a community, and so therefore we are truth seekers. And if you do have some information about the Lucifer telescope, country boy, put it up and I will put it up on the screen. Okay, when I see it. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so the other part of that is to, as we continue, when you think about architect designs like Washington, D.C., the Masonic layout of the Vatican, the obelisk that they have there, and then the physical manifestation of this hidden agenda. Washington, D.C. was supposedly designed with the, pentagram and the way everything is positioned. These people just don't make this stuff up. All of these things. So what if we began to, in fact, on one of the buildings, I forget which one it is, which was built way back in the 1500s. This thing, on the architect of the building, has the World Trade Center bombing. It has all kinds of symbols on it. And this thing was built way back then. Man, if I remember the name of that real quick. If anybody know what I'm talking about, put it on the screen, and then I'll look for the picture and put it up on the screen. But there's a pictures, and I forget which monument it is, but the monument has prediction. It had the Brooklyn Bridge. Then it also had the World Trade Center bombings. And they didn't have that building 300, 400, 500 years ago, but it was on there. It's on the architect of the building, the predictions. It's crazy. And it let us know that there's something. See, here's where I'm at. And I want y'all to know where I'm at. Once I start going down this rabbit hole, I then decided that it is time to get the knowledge to go down a rabbit hole. It is time to get this knowledge to be able to, obtain the energy of this stuff and use it in betterment for us too, so that we could balance life out. Because again, the bigger plan is control, manipulation, and mind control, all of this stuff. And energy, bringing your energy vibration down so that you don't be able to get where you are. And these things are it's just planned. It's really planned, and it's working. How do we break free from all of that stuff? And why do some believe that the world leaders flash secrets and handshakes in public? Because they do. And they do it to signal their, thing. So maybe one day we come up with something, a handshake for truth seekers. And then it just spread. And then we give everybody a number, 01, 02, 03. And so when you walk up to another truth seeker and you go, hey, blah, 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 whatever our code word is, Hunger Rabbit Jumps, right? That was a good one. And you say the Hunger Rabbit Jumps for I am 10,001 and 2. And they'd be like, damn, you remember 10,000, or I'm number 010, or you know what I'm saying? But we began to not so much start our own secret society, but we start our society that they know maybe it needs to be a secret. I don't know. Maybe there's power in it. We got to think about that. It's called Hung Man. What is it? Hug Man? What is that? Nick, what are you talking about? All right. So you said our secret handshake. Yeah, we need to do that. So the entertainment industry isn't just exempt from music videos to movie posters, symbols tied to occult control. And they do this thing all the time. And that question is, who's directing that narrative? And we thought, okay, old Puffy or Jay-Z. No, it's people bigger than them. It is people over them. And you hear like Jaguar White and all them, think she was saying some hideous, crazy stuff, but she be talking now. She, in her predictions and things are just blatantly coming true, especially when it comes down to the music industry and who's doing these things. What is happening with this thing is incredible that it would be going on for. Oh, the handshake is a hug. Okay, I got you. All right, I hear you. You said the handshake is a hug. All right. You walk up and tell me, why are you hugging me? The Hungry Rabbit Jumps. Truth seekers. We still need a cold phrase though, right? So when you're hugging somebody, you're whispering in their ear, the Hungry Rabbit Jumps, or whatever. So we still got to put that part in place. Yeah. But anyway, so consider the placement of those obelisks and those things that's in major cities like London, Washington, Rome. These things are put there purposely in positions, man. They're not just put them anywhere from that thing when it comes down to it. And it is something that we need to look into. You said McDonald's has symbolism to make people feel hungry and need to eat, and especially other fast food. Yeah, they all do. Man, they've been playing that game for crazy times. They've been playing it for a long time. So we talked about the Bilderbergs in the past, Bohemian Grove. We'll do videos on that. But also, what's the ultimate goal of this symbolic language is more than control. And what if it is? And if it is, how about reshaping, or what are they doing? Reshaping human consciousness, right? Entirely. They do it to keep us controlled. All right. So we got us a new member today. Let's see. Give a shout out if it's in real time there. Okay. And if any of you, what's going on, Mama Bees? If any of you watching this, and right now, let me tell you what time it is. It is 10:12 p.m. Okay. And if you watching this and you're not at 10:12 p.m., when you hear me say 10:12 p.m., that means that you're in a delay. You might want to refresh the live, come back in, and it'll bring you in real time. Because some of y'all are giving like comments and stuff, and then I can tell that I said this 20 minutes ago. And so I know that depending on when you come in, where it is. So it is 10:13. So if you hear me now, put the time that you hear right now in a chat for you. So if you hear me at 10:13 actual time right now, put 10:13. And then I pretty was sure when we see some 10:13s, 11:13, okay, and we see some that's going to pop up later, that means they're that far behind. So y'all watch for it as well as we go forward. All right. So a lot of y'all in the East Coast, 11:11. All right, then. Symbolism, baby. All right. So symbolism is embedded in our education systems. All right. From logos on schools, emblems, design, textbooks. I mean, they've been priming us at a early age. And I'm sure Monica, if she's still here, can tell you about that one, as far as what's happening in school. Okay, we got some 9:13, 10:13s. All right, 10:13. All right, so we got some real timers. Some of y'all in real time. That's cool. That's cool. We got some real time. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Charles is in 10:13. I thought you was in another state. Yeah. So so we got some real time folks. Real time folks is happening. Real time, real time. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. We got some real time. Let me see about getting this thing down. There we go. All right. So, all right. So y'all in some real time. DC and California. Whoa. All right. He said 9:13, Arkansas. Red is Mars, yellow is Mercury. All right. So we've uncovered symbols, traced them back to connection, glimpsed the grand agenda, but we barely scratched the surface when we really talking it. And the question is, what if we've been taught about history, power, and even morality is just part of a bigger lie, right? And to make sense of this, we can challenge everything we think. And for example, is what if the story? So it's time to challenge what we think. Okay, so here we go. All right, so we got some people in it. And Monica said 11:14, so she's in October. Let me tighten this thing up, and so we can use it. Oh, there we go. Hang on. I'm about to do it. Let me mute this out so y'all won't hear all this. All right, now we are popping and ready to roll. I turned the sound off because the mic was dropping. Yeah, and so we have to put it all back together when the time comes. So, yeah, I muted it out so you wouldn't hear me messing with all that. But anyway, so once again, like I said, we uncovered the connections, but we barely, really try to sorry, zip tied. Yeah, no, we barely scratch the surface. But what if what we've been taught about history, power, and morality is just a bigger lie? So, for example, if we want to go into the Adam and Eve story, okay, what if the Adam and Eve isn't just a religious parable, but a coded warning about knowledge, power, control tied to the serpent symbol? Have anyone thought about that? Right? What happens when those situation comes? Okay, so it's like like I said, the Vatican, they serpent stuff is all over. They built Snake Hall, and these people know, but they spending all this money and time in doing this stuff. They're not playing when they come with doing that. They know what they're doing, and that's how they roll. When it comes down to this, and so we have to think about that. What about myth about dragons, serpent, reptilian gods appear in nearly every ancient culture? And are these mere stories, or do they echo any particular truth when it comes down to this? And that is something again to think about. The reptilian stuff is all across different continents, statues, and how is that possible? Way back in times that we didn't have those things. Okay, so it is there when it comes down. The concept of divine rights of kings has been central to monarchies, and could it be the way they preserve the power through symbols and rituals that's tied to ancient bloodlines? Because the kings and queens over there think they have the right; they were ordained by God to be the kings and queens, right? They're ordained by God to do this, and their bloodline. So. And there are so many elites and Illuminatis that are trying to make sure they breed with the reptilian bloodlines, or to keep themselves pure when it comes to those things. So that's something that they're pretty much to do. I don't know. Who knows? And who knows when it comes to that? We talk about the great floods, the myth from the Bible to the Epic of Gilgamesh, and symbolize reset orchestrated by elites to consolidate control. There's so many things out there that we hear about, ant people. And have you ever noticed how many heroes in myth movies that gain powers through symbols, like Thor, with his hammer, to Excalibur? All of these, they're using real power dynamics when it comes down to symbols and scepters and all of this stuff, and yet they are doing that. You get what I'm saying? They're doing it, and pretty much. So, yep, we have Gilgamesh. Yeah, if that's how you want to pronounce that. Draconians. Yeah. All right. So, have you ever noticed how many, like the story of Atlantis? Now, this speaks of highly advanced civilization wiped out by catastrophes and stuff. And so what is just their myth? Or is it a warning about what happens when symbols of power are misused? So we know, if we talk about a city of Atlantis used to be here, what do you think can happen to us? What do you think can happen to us if it comes down to none of that? And look at modern day political systems. Are elections truly democratic, or are they being carefully staged rituals meant to give the illusion of choice? We know the popular vote don't mean nothing. We know this, but yet we get out there and stand in lines forever. We know the popular vote don't do much. It's the electoral college that is the one that they win. So there's people standing in lines in some states that don't even have no electoral votes. If I'm correct, right? But we know that that's not how our presidents and stuff are elected. But yet the illusion to get out there and vote. Ain't nobody really won the election because they won a popular vote. You got some people that were so unpopular, but the electoral college, they can pick where they want it to be. You know, and people don't know that. You know, there's a lot of states that don't. What if religious institutions, rather than guiding humanity toward enlightenment, are actually gatekeepers of ancient esoteric knowledge? And some of them are. They're some of them are, you know, when it comes down to this stuff. So it's things that we can look at. Yeah, they can withdraw anything they want. Somebody saying, I ain't never voted in my life. I hear you. I mean, I have, but you know, but I haven't recently, but there was a time that I would just stand in that long ass line and stuff. If you think about why do the Freemasons trace their origins to the builders of Solomon's temple, and what hidden truths lie in those things, legendary designs and stuff. Stuff is everywhere. It's everywhere. When you get down to this stuff, and pretty much consider the concept of duality, good versus evil, light versus dark. Is this natural truth, or is it tools to keep humanity divided? It's going to be natural laws. And people think there's a degree of separation between light and dark. There is. I mean, it just you know, but where is it? No different between hot and cold, even though we think that is a separation, but it's not, no difference. It's just where we are on the spectrum. And, you know, but these are natural laws. Think about fairy tales from Sleeping Beauty. Y'all remember that? The Pied Piper. These stories are filled with symbolic messages about control, deception, and awakening. You know, these stories are passed down from time to time. Santa Claus, to be exact. Go there. Some suggest that the concept of heaven and hell wasn't originally about morality, but about control and fear. What if these symbols have been weaponized? You know what I'm saying? You know, some people fear that if you go to hell, you know, I'm going to hell, I'm going to burn the rest of my life. So it's a control. Don't do this, or, you know, you're going to go to hell. So it's a lot of stuff when it comes down to this. Oh, Diana says, good night. Good night. The godmother of the channel here. Some suggest that what if modern obsession with self-branding through tattoos and personal logos isn't empowerment, but another layer of control? And then why do powerful families and organizations use symbols tied to ancient mythology? Are they preserving history, or are they claiming dominance? And like I said, it's something that we need to think about ourselves, and pretty much understand that it's time for us to harness that power, harness those powers, and to do the things that we're doing, and that's something from there, pretty much. So, are y'all getting any value tonight out of this? This is just all set up of what we're going to be talking about this year. Are you getting any understanding of where we're going to go? Is the whole point. We ain't got to understand everything we're talking about, but are you getting any value to understand the journey we're about to embark on and the importance of that journey? Yeah, let me know in the chat. What about symbols, or these powerful things? Of course, we know that, and I think the main part, let me go back here, is to say that if these symbols and myth are connected to everything we've been told about history, religion, and power, and are they done deliberately? You know, but the deeper question is why. To answer that, we need to pause and consider implications of that. So we'll go over some of those implications. All right, so we are getting some value. Cool. And if these symbols are this powerful, then why are we only now beginning to notice them? And it's because they're hidden in plain sight, or is it because we're conditioned not to see? I think we have always been conditioned not to see them, but that doesn't mean, well, not to see them in a more of a conscious mindset, but we see them subliminally or subconsciously. So the powers of them still evoke emotion and all the things that we have been doing. Now, like I said, we'll go over some of the stuff that, I mean, just really, we're going to go over some stuff. So think about this. If symbols can influence our minds, how much of our lives' free will is actually free? In here is information, okay? It's something I keep hidden. And this thing got all of the secret information you can think of. Everything that happened from 9/11, chemtrails to, you know, we had to pull together to get access to this stuff. But you're talking 3,500 videos, 19,000 ebooks, 20,000 audio files of some of the most insidious stuff in the world. You know, even the top stuff that you don't hear Jordan Maxwell talks about is in here. 55 different videos, David Icke stuff, but from anybody you can think of, some of the most greatest stuff. So I probably in a lifetime, none of us can go through all of the files and information, but we're going to tap into this shit. We're going to do that. And also for those, I don't know if any of you ever thought about doing your YouTube channel and podcasting. Anybody in here want to get on the other side of truth and you want to be a speaker of it, you know, maybe you got a podcast, maybe you want a YouTube channel. Put in a chat if that's something you're thinking about or doing, or pretty much, you know, that you want to be a voice to truth or whatever you're doing. But if YouTube, number one, is the main thing, because it's time. If you haven't thought about it or thinking about it, you definitely want to get you a YouTube channel and some stuff. But anyway, let me know if anybody is looking at it. What if the symbols we trust could, like religious icons or national flags, are part of the same systems that we fear? It's one of those things. All right. So a couple of y'all says, I would wish I had a permanent. Yeah, it's possible. Me, Damon said me. Yeah. So I'm working, you know, if y'all knows, this channel has grown from 10,000, 11. We're now 22,000 subscribers and we're growing. We want the plaque. We want to get to 100,000 subscribers. We're going to do it this year. But also I've been to a lot of YouTube conferences, so I've learned a lot of stuff. So I'm putting a elite group together. Tube Tribes is what it's going to be called. And it's going to be a kind of a video community where we can talk and share with each other. Now, yes, there will be some type of membership of that, but and ain't gonna have room for 25, 30 people. But we're gonna help some people. I'll give y'all some tools, some things that we're doing, and then we can help cross promote and help each other, help some of you. But if you are looking at some things, let me know. Girlfriends say, I don't like being seen, which is my 2025 resolution to put myself out there. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do, Liz. We're going to put your picture up first. There you go. You have already been seen in 2025. There you go. So that's Liz. She is also the mastermind, one of the, you know, the main masterminds behind what we do here. So there y'all go. Y'all know who it is and what she looks like now. So there you go. But if you decide that you want to be part of Tube Tribes and stuff, I'll let y'all know when I launch the inner circle of that, as well as some of the other things that we will do. Am I in? What does that mean? Am I in? Am I in? What is that, my nigga? I got my lace front ready. Hey, get ready. I'm telling you, we're going to do some stuff, and pretty much. But it's Tube Tribes. That's the name of it. Okay. So in about a few weeks, maybe 3 weeks, she said, no, I'm not. Roderick is too kind. Yeah, whatever. See, I said this at 10:32. She just spoke, so y'all mind. All right. So the other part of what we're going to be doing. So imagine walking through your city. How many signs, logos, architecture details, or things? So I'm going to activate each and every one of you. If you get out there and you see buildings and all of that stuff, I want y'all to send me pictures so we can break down some of the architect and all of these things. I want y'all to do that. Am I in the inner circle is what Monica said. You are the circle now. Yeah, you cool. You good. I'll call you. I'll tell you about what we're gonna be doing personally. And so it's one of those things that we can understand when we out, that you're going to see a lot of stuff when you're driving around. So I want you to begin to point and sending pictures, different stuff. Text it to the 800 number. You can text it there, 888-345-9121. I'll start putting it up pretty soon, because start Monday. Like I said, we're going to go all in on Monday. And we want to break down all of this stuff, from the simplest form to what we're going to use it. And then if I choose your picture or whatever, we'll give you shout out and kudos through the videos and do that. If I see a symbol, take a picture. Yeah. If you see a symbol, anything, take a picture, get it to me. My email, contact@wilderbiggsecret.com. Some of you got my personal number, or use the 800 number, 888-345-9121. And we'll start putting more of it up on the screen. So don't worry about that, so that you'll be able to do and send stuff when you can. The other part is, why do we know our favorite movies, music, even fashion trends is part of a system that's designed to condition ourselves. We know that. We can talk about that. 1999 from Judith Bird, keep going. 1999. What is that? Is that 1999? I'm using a new system. Did you super chat or something? I don't know. But I don't know. What was that? I'm not using StreamYard. I'm using a new system to supposed to give us better. We're supposed to have been able to do Facebook and Instagram. All right, let's keep going. All right, so if we're talking about ancient knowledge, and if we think about government institutions, all of this stuff, there's a lot of stuff. She sent money. Okay, all right, so cool. I need to figure out why I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I mean, like I said, I'm not using StreamYard will pop it up. This is another service, and the only reason I have this service is because supposedly you could stream to Instagram and all that at the same time. And so it was a donation super chat. All right, so let's just give it a check, because I didn't see it. But all right, and then I'll go back and put that on the screen. Boom. No, it didn't show that. Did it? Nope. Where is that? There we go. Boom. Okay, that said 19 from, but okay, I didn't know, but I guess that was the super chat. Well, anyway, y'all think Judith? Yeah. Thank y'all. Yeah. And if you see any value, y'all want to send. This is a community funded show, so we're going to be doing this. And if we want to get to some answers, it's going to take some stuff for us to do it. So again, make sure, if any of you, I know there's a lot of you who are on the Curious Minds. Start next week. I will now there will be some videos that will give you a sneak preview as the Truth Seekers and all that, or in our membership before we go live, not go live. And there will be some private lives. I got some people, like I say, there are some things some conversation we're on ahead. I don't want them to use all these keywords and trick words. So it cannot be public, and we can still use YouTube, but it has to be behind the wall. Okay. And eventually going to be doing it. So if you have not, make sure you upgrade your membership to the $6.99, the $6 one. The Truth Seekers and above, and then we'll have some special stuff for our guardians of the secrets and enchanted people. We got a few people doing that, and Project Black people as well. But at least at this point, I know a lot of you support, and I really appreciate it. But make sure you go to the Truth Seekers and do that as soon as possible, so that you can receive or be able to access those things that's coming up this week. All right, so we'll start this week as well. She said from her end, it's a super chat. I don't know. On my end, it didn't say anything. It just said what y'all see on my screen. Judith And so that's how I just saw it. So I gotta look up there and find out. See that you can take that picture now. Don't worry. I left it up. I forgot. It's all right. It's up. Okay. All right. So we've been exploring symbols of tools of influence and reality shaking, but now it's time to face what I call the bigger questions. And what does that mean or what does it mean for individuals like yourself and ourselves? And we're going to get into that. So if symbols are influencing us on a subconscious level, can we truly claim to have free will? And that is something that I still question that, right? Because when it's happening on a subconscious level, you have no clue to understand that. You have no clue. So if you think about population control, they've always been talking about now listen to me. This can says liquid death with the skull, but it's called dead billionaire. And maybe you had billionaire dreams. Maybe you did, and maybe you don't. And but dead billionaire. Do you want to drink that? Do you really want to drink that? I mean, do you really want to drink that? So, I don't know. What does it mean for humanity, for our culture, belief, decisions? Are we shaped by forces we can't see and don't understand? Yeah, like I said, we're going to go deep. We're going to go really deep with some stuff, and we'll see how that works in pretty much. Again, I see there was a couple of you who said you want to do the YouTube. Make sure y'all call me or text me. I'll give you the plans of what we're going to do in this tube tribes. We're going to do a real true YouTube outlier group. Okay. And you're going to be able to communicate. Yeah. Like I say, it'll be a fee involved, but it's going to be the worth your waiting goal. Because I believe that if you want to be a content creator, the future is now coming. There's going to be a lot entertainment of content. It's going to be one of the most important things out there. So if you are thought about building your channel, your podcast and all that, now it is time to implement it this year. Okay. And you want to get ahead. You don't want all those pitfalls and everything else. So we'll be doing that. Another thing, how many of you are, got business ideas and you need to trademark your idea, your names and all that stuff? As you are aware that all of my stuff is trademarked now. High Strangeness clothing line went through. My tagline, you may not believe it. All those things are mine. Okay. And it can't be used in no podcast, and it can't be used in, I can use them in true crime. I registered in every genre, but it's my catchphrase. You may not believe it. And even your eyes are useless. Your mind is blind is being filed. These are trademarks, okay, that are being filed. So it'll probably cost you anywhere from $2,000, $2,500, but I got some people you can get it if your filing fees now just went up to $350 now, right? It used to be $250, but under $700-800, you can get this whole thing done. That's including the filing fees that you're going to pay out of that yourself. So you're talking $400 or $500. But if you're interested in doing that, we're going to be helping people, especially those within our tube tribes, file your trademarks or anything, and you can get that done ASAP. Start filing them now. If you file them within the next month or two, by the end of the year, you'll have and there's the value on that. Okay. So High Strangeness is my trademark. I own it. In fact, it's so funny because on Etsy right now, there's hundreds of people selling High Strangeness UFO shirts and all that. I'm going to send all of them a cease and desist. I own the trademark for clothing line for High Strangeness. It's mine. You can look it up right now. Go to USPS, trademark, search Roderick Martin. Just put in my name. You'll see all my trademarks. Truth versus Authority. The Symbolizer has been filed. And so I own it. And as soon as I put up an Etsy store for High Strangeness UFO alien shirts, so the traffic could come to me, or they can lease it. Hey, y'all can, if y'all making money, pay me $1,500 to lease the brand, but it is mine. I own it. So go look it up right now. It's a registered trademark, and from clothing, and then in content for podcasts, YouTube videos, TV, all of that. So, but if you want to learn that, not learn, if you want to file and do that, I'm going to be setting that up for our inner circles and people to have access to do it. So the website and stuff is getting worked on now, because all this stuff is important. So that was just a promo of that. So as we continue, can we reclaim these symbols and redefine their meanings? Absolutely. That's the whole purpose that I want while we're here, so that you get to learn how to use these trademarks for yourself, so that you can, not trademarks, I'm sorry, for symbols for yourself, so that you can do these things and put those things in play. All right, so we're getting ready to end here a little bit. I only wanted to be here about 3 hours, so we got about 10 minutes, and pretty much. All right, so I need all of you to truly, those who are down with the program, to let me know, because like I said, we're going to do these videos. We're going to talk about, we'll talk about individual symbols moving forward. What they mean. Yep. Sacred geometry, all of this stuff that's connected to this. We're going to talk about those things and connect the dots. And I just want to know if y'all with me, and if y'all can spread the word, if we can like some of this stuff, share it, do it. And 8 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I may go Tuesday and Thursday, but during the day, and just kind of test the algorithm. But we're gonna do. I'm gonna get real deep with this stuff and go on a journey. During the day, maybe live, because I got a camera for the car, a little thing, and then we can do some stuff. Like I said, look at some of the churches, or stuff while we're out and about talking to people. All of this stuff. So we're gonna put some stuff together and do that. So I just want all of you to know. But if you are agreeing with this, and this is the route we're going to go, I just need to know. I'm all in. But I do it for us, though. I just need to know that y'all got my back, and it's going to have value for you to learn this stuff, right? That's the other part. Is it going to have value for you to learn? Yeah. So, all right. Maya says she's down for it. John says cool. Aqua Girl says I'm here for it. Cool. Thank you. Nick says, yep. I think ETs can read symbols like maps. Shit, who wouldn't, right? First time finding your channel tonight. Oh, good. All right. So make sure you subscribe and share. How did you find us tonight, Lauren? Let me know. Promise don't drink that pause. I'm not going to drink it, man. You know what? Let me put it over here. I'm going to put it over here because I'm not going to drink it. And even though it's reprogrammed now, though. Okay? I reprogrammed it. That's for sure. This is something else. It's bubbling, sparkling water. So it's not that liquid death. All right? I'm not going to touch that crap. Yeah, simple. All right, Judith says she's here. He said I subscribe. Lauren, I'm sorry. How did you find this, though? Let's learn code breaking. All right, we're going to do that. You know what? It's funny. I just got a new book on codes and how they've been sending those things around. But codes is in hidden symbols, so they're there. So what if understanding the hidden symbol in these symbols is like learning a new language, and one that reveals the true workings of our world? Wouldn't that be worth it, right? Absolutely, that'll be worth it. Think about this. How many symbols will you encounter tomorrow that you may have never noticed before tonight? Would you see them differently now? That's another question. And that is something that, like I said, if y'all see any, send them over. Contact@whythebigsecret.com would be the email. make sure you do that. And if you're live, I'm aware, I'm here. Yeah. We're going to be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're going to do it. I'm here, friend. Always sending love. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate you. Country boy say I'm down. Cool. Let's do it. Because we're going to grow. We got to grow it. I want to hit 100 subs. I want the plaque. I wanted us to do our symbolism symposium this year, along with, our Project Black stuff too. But, symbolism, we want to do it. I think it's going to be so cool. Nothing's been done like that before. So it would be so cool to put it in. We'll do probably live webinars and stuff first with some key people, but we'll definitely do that. The other question is, could uncovering hidden meanings in these symbols be a key to understanding not just the world, but ourselves? I think that's something to really think about, which I think there's some truth in it, that learning these symbols, we're going to understand ourselves. He says, found you by checking out random YouTube live recommendations. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad they recommended me, pretty much. Yeah. We're going to do that. All right. So, appreciate it. But anyway, welcome home, Lauren. Welcome home. How about that? That's the word. We can also say that how many decisions have you made consciously and unconsciously because of a power of a symbol? And can you reclaim that power? Yeah, I think that's something we can do, something we should be doing. Now, our live streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday won't be 3-4 hours long. Okay. So they're on probably be about an hour. We'll get in and get going, and we would do that. So it's thick and all of that stuff, and pretty much. All right, so we're going to be working on a lot of stuff on the back end, and as church would say, it's last call for anyone who wants to do a donation to. We ain't no damn church. This is our community, okay? But anyway, before I leave, you can super chat or you can cash app. Cash app comes direct, pretty much. And if you found value tonight, in the future or whenever, and just your time being here again is so important to let you know. So we're gonna get ready to get out of here, as I promised. And so here's the deal: I'm using a thing called OneStream Live, and it's supposed to connect it to Instagram and Facebook, and they got a good looking system. I just have no clue of why we're not seeing certain things. I don't even know how many people are in here right now. Of course, the other one will tell me. And then, like I said, I don't know if I even should still be trying to stream to, I want to stream to Instagram. I might have to do it separately, but since, we're growing, and I learned a good technique there, y'all can kind of go see it. The Instagram following went from 2,700 people last week. I was at 2,700 followers that I've been on for 3 years, and now I'm at 20,000 within. I probably grew 15, 17,000 people in the last 10 days. Some stuff I'm learning. So pretty cool. I'm gonna be teaching at it in our tube tribes, pretty much. But now, but all those audiences are separate. People. TikTok is separate. Instagram, they all don't really intersect. People watch where they watch their stuff, but YouTube is my primary focus from there, and we will be doing that. He said, I follow you on Instagram just a moment ago. Cool. All right now. Yeah. I'll be doing some crazy little videos there, but I do want to figure this out, how to live stream on Instagram. Yeah. So we're going to be doing that as well. All right. So with that being said, we will hang on a minute. Let me see if this works here. It's even all right. So at this point, this thing is so cool that I can put stuff here on my screen, and you guys can't even see it, but it is so cool that this thing does that. So it's pretty cool. It really is. I don't know why I keep getting these dings. I don't know where it's coming from, but we would do. Somebody said YouTube. All right. Okay, so you got it. Truth versus authority, the symbolizer. You know about the brand now. You know that you can go to do that. You should go there. And again, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do here, and we should. So we're going to get out of here right now. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you for, you know, your support being here tonight. Let's get ready. Get your notepads ready. We're going to make it quick. We're going to hit it hard. Start Monday. We're going to be on a new journey, and you know, some will be interesting, some will be mind-boggling, but they're all going to be good for each and every one of us as we continue to grow, and that's how we're going to roll. So let me turn the commercials on this bad boy so we could do it. All right, so good night, y'all. It's been a plum, pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. A couple of y'all will get a call from me in a minute to catch up on a couple of things. But anyway, so thank the team, thank everybody. Much love to you, and I will talk to y'all a little later. So let's roll.